Chapter 417. After rushing all the way, Xiao Chen's car finally entered the Yu's house and stopped in front of Yu Xiaochuan's new house. Or rather, in front of his and Tang Tang's new house. Xiao Chen got out of the car and entered the villa with the appearance of White Fox. Yu Xiaochuan had been waiting at the door of the villa for a long time. When he saw Xiao Chen, he immediately greeted him. "White Fox hero, you're here. Come and take a look at Zhuangxiong. He's dying." Xiao Chen frowned and made a gesture to lead the way. He couldn't help but speed up his pace. When they came to a guest room in the villa, there were already several people standing there, including Tang Tang, Yu Shanshan, and a middle-aged man. He was Yu Shanshan and Yu Xiaochuan's father. However, when Xiao Chen came, Yu Xiaochuan's father greeted him and left. He also knew that he was not familiar with White Fox Hero, so standing here was an eyesore. There were only a few people left in the room who could be regarded as his own people. Xiao Chen walked over and looked at Zhuangxiong on the bed. Zhuangxiong's body had been cleaned. Although there were no visible injuries on his face, his breath was very weak, which was a sign that he was terminally ill. Xiao Chen walked over. Zhuangxiong did not go over, because he was holding his breath. At this moment, he opened his eyes with difficulty and glanced at the white fox in front of him. But his brain was not working at the moment, so he subconsciously called out, "Boss. Boss, you're here?" Xiao Chen's face changed slightly, but at this time, he would not blame Zhuangxiong. He just coughed lightly and said, "How do you feel?" As he spoke, he began to check the injuries on Zhuangxiong's body. After a check, Xiao Chen was immediately shocked. Zhuangxiong's chest was completely flattened. After all, Zhuangxiong was a warrior at the second stage of inner strength. The person who could beat him like this must be a warrior, and his strength was definitely not low. 423. However, who did Zhuangxiong offend? Quickly put away the spinach in her hand, stole his fiancée and began to peel the braised egg. Had already been beaten. She was very busy. He shouldn't have the chance to cause trouble for him, right? I won't help you even if you say it later. Didn't ask much. Said Kerlin. He began to use the mantra to heal Zhuangxiong. With the experience of healing Shen Jingmao, Kerlin, the middle-aged woman, with a smile and said, "The process was very smooth this time. The people in the room did not say a word as they stared unblinkingly at the white fox. Do we still need to be like this? However, this matter, what surprised them was that Zhuangxiong's face gradually turned from pale to rosy. Zhuangxiong hesitated and said shyly, to be improving bit by bit. You haven't said what it is. Shocked everyone, how can I help you? Tang Tang. Kerlin was a little dumbfounded. Although Xiao Chen vowed that he was a white fox. You don't want to borrow money from me, a little incredulous. Right? Then I don't have a penny. She saw my scholarship has to be handed over to my parents. It seemed that Xiao Chen's strength had reached a very terrifying level. My business for whether the person in front of her was Xiao Chen. But once it opens, she believed that I really have something better than her. Lu Shuangxiong help me. Zhuangxiong was a little anxious. Kerlin suddenly had some doubts. Tang's heart how can Zhuangxiong ask for finally relaxed? Smiled bitterly and said, "Someone from you." Was really beyond her. Zhuangxiong looked at my boyfriend's expression. Besides, he just lent to rest for a while. Someone and take some restorative potions. Kerlin was stunned. Xiao said, "My family is only my dad and what is going on? That white fox is so stupid. You should know him. I want to borrow your boyfriend." He glanced at the school bully from middle school with a smile. Didn't he always pursue me in school? You don't have to wear a few days ago. Everyone I don't know actually knows what is going on in trouble. In this room. She didn't know what everyone is on the same side. After a while, she said, "I was angry, so I said that I already have a rich boyfriend. Don't talk nonsense." Some surprise. I didn't expect that if Xiaochuan's words were already very obvious. He wasn't your boyfriend. Does he know that I am Xiaochen? Kerlin was a little that I am afraid in front of him. However, Xiaochen was a little puzzled. She can even didn't believe that now let's talk. However, she knew about Uncle and Auntie can't hear us. Although she was, I know you don't want family to know that you are in your relationship. She had heard about such a Xiaochuan's bully like Kerlin Xiao Chen was Zhuangxiong's boss. I told you he's not my boyfriend. No problem for sending me to call him boss directly. You all went to get a room. Not to mention, don't think I don't know number one middle school. Therefore, or number two middle school directly. You misunderstood. So no one harassed her. What do you mean? However, when she finished high school, do you want to see my truth of my boyfriend? Yesterday, there was a different situation. There was a surveillance video. I think there were more bad guys here. You
Those rich young masters were even more unscrupulous breath than Nani and I.
If it wasn't that the Xiaochen who always looked
and
after
then
her,
you know it all.
pervert. She really
wasn't
didn't know
scared,
if she
so
would
I
be
asked him to
defiled or
accompany
not.
me.
White Fox.
Sometimes
Sunderland
kept
kept
thinking,
I killed
why
the
is my
disciples in the
love so bad?
monitoring room.
Although in the video hard
why
says
don't
we
we
not
not
go
go
to
to
the
the
reunion?
reunion?
No one
Obviously
knows the
didn't.
secret.
Kerlin suggested
Otherwise,
Xiaochuan
why would
said
she
quickly.
continue
How can
to
I not
ask
go?
I definitely won't
I
boyfriend.
promised him before.
What about your
Shuang
sister?
Why
Why
don't
don't
you
you
believe
believe
a long
Xiaochen?
time ago?
He's really not
I
my
didn't
boyfriend.
expect it to be
Why
tonight.
can I lend it to you?
harm me?
I just
Kerlin
feel
said
that
this
this
guy
guy
should 2
hate
days
Xiaochen
ago.
a
Go
lot.
do your
But
work.
it doesn't
Go
seem
to
to
the
be the
field
case.
and sell your stuff.
Jian
Jian
Shan
is my sister.
It's useless.
And she is already
Kerlin didn't know
Xiaochuan's
what to
woman.
say.
So you don't have
Although
to
I
worry
want to
about
help.
her.
He really isn't my boyfriend.
As
I
for
can't
Tang
trouble
Tang
him.
and Juing Xiong,
It's okay.
they already know,
Give me
right?
your phone number.
Xiaochen
I will
didn't
call
deny
him.
it.
I will
Since
talk
things
to
had
him.
come to this,
There was no need to hide it anymore.
This isn't very good,
Xiaochen
right?
casually took
Kerlin
off his
felt
mask
that giving
and
someone
revealed
else
his
original
phone
number
face
was a kind
this
of a
gave
moral
Shan Shan a
behavior.
fright, and she was
Aya,
dumbstruck.
Aya.
Then
She
I will
didn't
ask
expect
uncle
that
and
the
auntie
master
for it.
White Fox,
Lu
who was sought after
pretended
and
to
admired
leave.
by everyone,
Okay,
was
I am
actually
really
the trash
scared
of the
of you.
Xiao family.
I will give it to
Xiaochen.
you.
This
But
person
don't talk
can't
nonsense.
cultivate internal force.
You look for him in your
But
own
looking
name.
at him at the
Don't say
Righteous
anything
Endeavor
about me.
Summit,
It
Kerlin
wasn't
couldn't
that he
help it.
couldn't cultivate
She could only
internal
say
force,
so,
but
he
he
was
still
too
warned
good at
her.
it.
I know.
Shan,
Don't
give
go
it
out
to
and
me.
talk nonsense.
Lu Shuang
Yu
said eagerly.
Xiaochuan said. Kerlin
We are
wrote
all
down
on the same
Xiaochen's
side.
phone number. You know the
And gave it
stakes.
to Lu Shuang.
And I understand.
Then she went back to
Although
work.
Yu Shan
She
was
was
shocked,
pulled over by
she
Lu
nodded quickly.
Shuang for a long
At
time.
least from Juing
the
Xiong's
business
side,
there was a little
she
busy.
wouldn't go out and
Lu
talk
Shuang
nonsense.
rolled her eyes.
Now that even her brother said so, she took
She
out her
wouldn't go
mobile
out
phone
and talk
and
nonsense.
dialed Xiaochen's
Also,
number.
Tang
She had a
Tang
mobile
is
phone.
actually your brother
Perhaps
White
only a
Fox's
good
woman.
girl like Kerlin
But there is nothing
didn't
wrong
have
with
a
you
mobile
calling her
phone.
sister-in-law.
Hello. Your brother
Xiaochen
White
was
Fox
a little
is the boss
puzzled.
of Juing
There was a
Xiong.
strange call
Yu
from his
Xiaochuan
mobile phone
said.
card.
As for
Is
your
it
brother,
Kair's boyfriend?
there is a problem
Lu
with my
Shuang asked
cultivation
with a
method.
smile.
I can't
Kair's
touch women.
boyfriend?
You called the wrong
Yu
number.
Shan nodded as if she
Xiaochen
understood.
said subconsciously.
She was a little
He was about to
confused.
hang up the phone.
But it didn't matter
His
if she
identity
couldn't
was
figure
not
it out.
anyone's boyfriend.
As long as it
Even
was kept
Tang Tang's
secret.
identity was
During
not
the conversation,
disclosed to the public.
Juing Xiong
Hey,
actually
wait.
sat up.
Don't hang up.
Boss,
You
Lu
are so
Shuang
awesome.
said hurriedly.
I feel like I'm fine
you
now.
Xiaochen?
You lie
I
down
am.
quickly.
You are?
Yu Shan.
Xiaochen thought he
You let
called
him
the
lie
wrong
down
number.
and talk. He didn't expect
Xiaochen
that the
told
other
Yu
party
Shan
could call his name.
Okay, brother White
He
Fox.
listened carefully. Yu Shan
It seemed
nodded.
that the other party's
From the
voice was
perspective
also
of Juing
familiar.
Xiong,
She
Where did
also
he
had
hear
to
it?
respect Xiaochen.
I'm Lu Shuang.
Yu Xiaochuan.
I'm
Didn't
Kerlin's
you
good
hate me
friend.
before?
The one who
Xiaochen
sells
looked at Yu
binoculars.
Xiaochuan strangely.
Did you forget? Hero
We
White
met in
Fox,
Temple
come with
Street,
me. And in the
Yu
toilet.
Xiaochuan said as
Lu
he reached out to hug
quickly
Xiaochen
reminded him
and pulled him to
Oh,
the
it's
door.
you. What's
He
the
lowered
matter?
his voice and said,
Xiaochen knew the
I am
other
not
party's
interested
identity,
in women now.
so he asked.
I can't expose
Here's
the fact
thing.
that I am
Can I ask
practicing
you
the
a favor?
chrysanthemum treasure
Lu
book.
Shuang asked
Now
with
you
some
and Tang Tang
expectation.
can help me hide
Tonight,
it.
do you have anything
Moreover,
to do?
I also
Tonight,
admire you very much.
Nothing. But
Now
tell
that
me
you are
what's the matter
Xiaochen,
first.
That's even better.
Xiaochen was a
Tang
little
Tang
puzzled.
doesn't reject
He
it
didn't
anymore.
understand why
I am
Lu
even
Shuang
happier.
was looking for him.
Xiaochen felt
His current
strange being
identity
hugged
was
by Yu
Xiaochuan,
Xiaochuan,
not White
He
Fox.
nodded and said,
What could she
so
ask
that's
from
how
him?
it is.
This
In
is
that
the
case,
case. Feel
I have
free
a
to speak
classmate
up if you have
gathering.
anything to
I want
say
you
in
to
the
accompany
future.
me.
Since we
Said
are all
Lu
open
Shuang.
with each other,
What?
there is nothing to
Xiaochen was
hide.
a little stunned.
Okay,
Your
thank
classmate
you.
gathering.
Yu Xiaochuan
Why do you
nodded
want me
quickly.
to go?
Back
I don't
in
know
the
those
room,
classmates of
Juing
yours.
Xiong also slowly
Xiaochen
talked
was a
about
little
what happened
dumbfounded
tonight.
at the moment.
It turned out
What
that
is Lu
today,
Shuang's
Juing
logic?
Xiong was
Is she
invited by the
familiar
Yu
with
family
me?
to have
Even
dinner.
if we are familiar,
Yu Xiaochuan's
her
marriage was
classmate
settled,
gathering has
and the
nothing
next
to do
step
with me,
was Yu
right?
Shanshan's turn.
I want you to
The
pretend
Zhu
to be my
family was
boyfriend
actually a
and
little
deceive
anxious.
someone.
According
Lu
to the
Shuang
rules
said,
of
"Is
aristocratic
that okay?"
families. No,
Because
I don't
the
have
age
time.
of marriage was not
Xiaochen
enough.
refused directly.
But the engagement
How could
was
he have the
considered
time
to be an official
It's
couple.
really inexplicable.
They wanted Juing Xiong
Aya,
to
just do
carry
me a
on the
favor.
family line as
I
soon
know
as
you haven't
possible,
won over
because
Kerlin
the
yet.
Zhu family
At
did not
most,
have many people.
I will help you put in
Therefore,
a few good
this
words
matter
in
was
the
put on
future.
the agenda.
How about it?
Juing Xiong
Lu
came as a
Shuang
prospective
suggested.
son-in-law.
That won't work.
Everything Everything was fine at first. This has nothing to do with me. The kitchen was preparing the meal. And Xiao refused flatly. Tang. Okay, you're turning your back on me. Last several elders of the Yu family that if I need your help in the reception hall, don't refuse. Finally, and you agreed. A disciple came to report that the Oyang family of the provincial capital had come to visit. Did I agree? Although there were guests, Xiao Chun was stunned. The Oyang family of the provincial capital, even if he agreed, was a real martial arts family. It was just polite words. The Yu family could not take it seriously. Therefore, however, Lu Shuangshuang obviously let the Oyang family come to the reception hall. Xiao Chun was a little helpless. And let you Xiaochuan. Then tell me, the other juniors, why do you want me to pretend to be your boyfriend? You're not that old now, right? The person from the Oyang family was called should also be in their third year of high school. After entering the door, he did not greet them politely at this age, but directly have a boyfriend. The request of the Oyang family. I'm 1 year older than Kerlin. That was he represented the Oyang family of the provincial capital. Now it's a junior high class to the Yu family. The main thing is that there's a person I don't like who keeps chasing me. I have no choice but to tell him that I found a very arrival of powerful boyfriend suddenly caught the Yu family off guard. So I have to bring him to the reunion. Suddenly felt a little embarrassed. Lu Shuang explained. Although the Ouyang family, you also know that I'm selling binoculars every day. Provincial capital. I'm so busy. It was stronger than the Zhu family to find a boyfriend. There would definitely be a lot of benefits from the marriage. I have to go back and take care of her when I have time. If I get into such trouble, he will bother me all day long about marriage. I can only deal with him. How could they break off the engagement? After listening to Lu Shuang, the Yu family had already done something similar suddenly had a headache. But there was a reason for it. It really was this kind of bullshit. It was because Tang had a strange disease that they broke off the engagement at night. But now, after thinking there was nothing wrong with It was just a little effort. If they broke off the engagement, okay, not to mention then I'll help you once. However, the Zhu family would not let it go, right? Don't do it again and again. The Yu family politely refused. This time, it's because of this way. Ouyang Liang immediately became angry. He roared and brought up the previous example of Tang. Okay, meaning that there were many times when the Yu family was overjoyed and quickly reminded him. There was no other way. Then at 4 o'clock tonight, Liang's words were very unpleasant. The entrance of the warrior guild. The Yu family could only remember to drive your Land Rover. Tang had a strange disease, Xiao muttered the word gold digger in his heart. But he still nodded and was fine and got along well with Yu Shanshan. Xiaochen was a person who valued his promises. It was this one sentence since that he might really promise to help Lu Shuang in the future. Directly sneered he wouldn't and said, decline. Wasn't he originally wanted to go out? That was very good. But now there was no need to go out. Let him be directly in trouble. And if he had a problem, at they night. Could naturally break off the engagement with the Zhu family. Yi Xiaoya saw Xiaochen drive out and come back. Chapter 4:18. She was a little puzzled. Without a doubt, she was fiddling with her flower bed. Was a when she saw Xiaochen park the car, she asked, "To a normal family's disciple, why are you he back was a powerful existence? Nothing. With a wave I just went out for a walk. But it was boring, severely injured. So I came back. However, I'm going to sleep. The Yu clan did not dare to force him to stay and went back to the bedroom. He was a member of the real martial arts clan. Yi Xiaoya frowned. Although he was a branch family. This person, he was still stronger than the Yu clan. I've tried so hard to help him, away from the main family. Sloppy. Moreover, if only he could be like the one who was injured was Zhu unconsciously, not a member of the Yu thought of the White Fox. In essence, during this period of time, Zhu Yingxiong were not impossible to say that Yi Xiaoya didn't have a good impression of the White Fox. Ouyang Liang, a young man and a woman working together to do a mission, he laughed coldly and said, they even took off their clothes and rested together. I hope that you will put yourself in the right position. Not have any of those thoughts. It is Yu Shanshan's fortune, however, that my brother has taken a liking to herself. Don't miss one of the candidates for the Demon Ouyang real martial arts clan. She was bound by the marriage contract from the moment she was chosen. This time, she had no right to choose her love. Next time, the next demon sect leader was born. I will give you one night to think about it. Was born. I will come again tomorrow morning. Contract would be automatically dissolved. Ouyang Liang turned around not only would the demon sect leaving behind the Shakyu clan, but the sect would not let her go either. People who could force this was also the reason why she was determined not dare not to let the White Fox. Wouldn't it be a declaration of war with her during the day? And the Ouyang clan, how could the Yu clan always have complicated feelings? No matter how one looked at it, she wanted to help him. The Yu clan would not do such a things that she couldn't say out loud. After listening to what had happened, she hoped that he could quickly gain the ability to protect himself. There was nothing much to say about this. When that person came out of seclusion, every clan's elders would consider the clan's benefits, shaking her head, and not their personal gains and losses. Withdrew her thoughts. Only when a clan was prosperous with the flowers and plants in the flower bed, would everyone in the clan be able to obtain corresponding benefits. Received an email on his mobile phone. Just like when Xiao Chun was chased out of the same sender as last time. He had no other choice. This made Xiao Chun slightly surprised. He had to sacrifice the content of the email. Therefore, although the Yu clan's actions were ruthless last time, it was understandable. The content of the email was as simple as the last time. Family said directly, Chao Yuliang, that's great. Xiang's villa, get rid of nodded. However, although the content was brief, there will be no problem understood it at a glance. However, Xiaochen couldn't go to the Chung family anymore. The context was clearer than the previous time. After he went there, clearly explained that there was a problem between Chao Yuliang in front of him. It would not be easy to expose himself. Although Xiao Chen was very puzzled about who this person was, Jean Bebe, and why would he did not hide it from the people present. It was reasonable to say that this person ran to be a person who cared more about the phone secretly. But why did he know so clearly about Chao Yuliang? And Zhu Yingxiong has been injured by someone. Xiao Chen knew one person who had this possibility. And that was the young Mississippi. I'll talk to cousin Minjing. She knew Chao Yuliang. Jean Bebe and was familiar with. You can stay there tonight. It was naturally not too difficult to know these situations. I will pick you up during the day. However, what Xiao Chen couldn't figure out was that the young miss didn't need to tell him in Jean such a form. Jean Bebe answered and wouldn't it be better if she told him directly? When Cheng Minjing heard that Xiao Chen left because about the relationship between him, she was not and the Cheng family. She just snorted and muttered, "Say it openly." This guy, however, crushed 2 days ago, and I have to clean it for him every time. With her. Otherwise, the young miss also promised to help. Let him go so easily. So there was no need to tell him in this form. Jean Bebe, if this person wasn't the young miss, why are you asking when you already know? Who else could have been paying attention to this matter? As they were talking, felt that something was wrong. Went to visit the elders of the Cheng family. He seemed to have thought of something, but it was very vague. He saw Cheng Minjing and Jean Bebe in the banquet hall. Text message to the young miss. So he quickly ran over. Minjing, how is the situation? You are here. What did you say about Xiao Yuliyang's matter? Isn't what you're saying nonsense? This was sent very obscurely. This is cousin Minjing's even home. If Cheng Minjing if we are not here, are you? Others wouldn't think that there was a problem if they saw it. Xiao Yuliyang, not long after the text message was sent, you can go ahead with your business. Xiao Chen heard the sound of someone coming down the stairs outside the door. Cheng Minjing wanted to send Xiao Yuliyang away. It could be seen that she was a very careful person. Otherwise, she didn't say it directly in the phone. Whether he was up to something bad open the door and walked pestering her. Just in time to see Cheng Minjing in her pajamas. Since Cheng Minjing were a little drowsy, Xiao Yuliyang did not say anything else, making her look exceptionally delicate. The two girls were talking about something private charm to her, and it was not appropriate for him to stay here. Perhaps only her husband would be qualified to appreciate such a scene in the future. I'll visit Grandpa Cheng and Uncle Chen had seen it now. Sometimes, Cheng Minjing couldn't tell his position in the young Mississippi. Was she the hostess or the fiancé? In confusion, if Xiao Chen had always been the good-for-nothing Xiao Chen, what do you want to talk to me about? He probably wouldn't have so many thoughts now. Or do you want to send Xiao Yangzi away? It was definitely impossible between him and the young Mississippi. Detective Bay 007. His strength couldn't be said to be the best in the world. Bebe was dazed. But at least in Song City, you help me follow Cheng Yuliyang's previous and see who he is in contact with and what he does and says. Became active but don't again. Let him find out. Xiao Chen didn't know what was wrong with task. He obviously had Shen Jingxian and Tang Yes, Tang. It's too easy. But he still had thoughts about Cheng Minjing. Jean Bebe immediately this was not his previous character at all. Her chest was shivering, which made Cheng Minjing a little envious. He was only crazy about Shen Jingxian. After saying have other thoughts Cheng about Minjing turned around what are you pretended to be tired. Cheng Minjing she went to a corner of the dining room staring at her and sat down to take a rest. And she felt a little uncomfortable. Xiao Yuliyang left the dining room. Now you know that I'm beautiful, right? He turned around and looked around. Your engagement has been broken off. Nobody was around. What were you doing earlier? He took out his phone and dialed a number saying, "It's not too late now. Young Master Cheng, at least I can see you every day." I'm in the Cheng family's mansion now. I have nothing to do now. I don't want to talk about this with you. Can I go and find you? Cheng Minjing glared at Xiao Chen and said, Jean Bebe was hiding in a daze and fell asleep with Bebe. She heard Xiao Yuliyang's words clearly. Bebe followed Xiao Yuliyang here yesterday and found that he entered Xiao Yuliyang going to find Cheng Minjing. As for what they talked about, Xiao Yuliyang did not have no way of knowing. Instead, your previous guess was really played with his phone. Sure which enough, made Jean Bebe a little confused. Didn't particularly believe the anonymous email he was going or then not. Then he had to believe what Cheng Minjing said to him. After a while, sure enough, there was something wrong with an independent villa in the Cheng family's mansion. Things became complicated. Cheng Minjing received a call from Cheng family involved. In fact, he was with Xiao Xiao at the moment. Xiao Chen felt that Cheng trusted Xiao Xiao very much. He was on his side. Xiao Xiao had not become his woman yet, left with old Master Cheng and Cheng somewhat defensive. Among these two, he could not tell her everything, must have something wrong, especially when it was related whether there was something wrong with old Master Cheng. Although Xiao Xiao seemed to like him now, she should be very sensitive when it came to the survival of the Xiao family. Therefore, Xiao Chen's current strength, it was not enough to crush the Cheng family. The strength of old Master Cheng was said to be unfathomable. No one had seen him show his strength in recent years. Xiao Chen was confident in dealing with Cheng Minxiang and Cheng Zhongfan. Instead, but he didn't know if old Master Cheng would jump out. Obviously, if he was the behind-the-scenes mastermind, left the door open for him. Then if Xiao Chen killed Cheng Minxiang watched Xiao Yuliyang enter the single-family villa, it would have no choice. The enemy. She definitely could not follow him in. If she did, Cheng Minjing would definitely be discovered. Therefore, she immediately called Cheng Minjing. Are you going to find someone to deal with Cheng Minxiang? How is it going? Not for the time being. Although Cheng Minjing seemed to be resting, Xiao Chen had been thinking about this matter. He finally confronted the Cheng family. Should not be in danger. This wasn't the situation. This was the mansion of the Cheng family. After all, even if Xiao Yuliyang discovered that he was being followed, you protect yourself. He could not do anything to Jean Bebe. However, I'm not here. The main problem was that once Jean Bebe was discovered by Xiao Yuliyang, if you want to do something, just be alarmed. Don't worry about difficult for Xiao Yuliyang to catch Jean Bebe. If I find out that the behind-the-scenes mastermind is your grandfather, Xiao Chen's plan would be ruined. And I confront your grandfather. Cousin Minjing, will you hate me? I saw that Xiao Yuliyang called a man named Young Master Cheng very respectfully. Cheng Minjing lowered her head. After that, after a while, she raised her head and said, Don't joke around. Reported truthfully. How can my grandfather deal with you?
Villa.
He shouldn't do this.
She also knew that she and Chung Minjing had been close since they were
surprised.
kids. She was
as familiar with
my
the Chung
grandfather's
family
character
as she was with her own home.
Oh, he went there.
Chung Minjing's
heart
suddenly
and
very self-centered,
as she expected,
something was wrong.
Scheming.
It seemed that
wants
Xiao
to deal
Chen's
with
speculation was correct.
The Chung family wants to deal with you.
Were in
the
different
beginning,
age groups.
If he really wanted
impossible
you to die,
for them to be
he
so
would have
close.
forced you to die directly.
It was
He
even more
use these
impossible for
conspiracies
Qiao
behind the
Yuliang to be
scenes.
Chung Mingxiang's
He even let
lackey.
Qiao Yuliang
After
jump
all,
out to be
he
the
was
vanguard.
older than Chung Mingxiang.
Chung Minjing said,
Unless there
Xiao
was
Chen
some
nodded.
unknown reason
It seemed
that
that
caused
Chung
it to
Minjing
become
said
like
made
this.
some sense.
Qiao Yuliang
Old
was
Master
very
Cheng's
respectful
character
to Chung
should be
Mingxiang.
like this.
What did it
As
mean?
the first
Why did
aristocratic
Qiao
family
Yuliang
in
do that?
Songning.
However,
it was not important
to be strong
anymore.
and arrogant.
What mattered was
there was
that
no
Chung
need for any
Mingxiang
conspiracies.
was probably the person
It was also
who dealt
possible
with
to
Xiao
use
Chen
Chen
behind the
Zhongqian's
scenes.
matter as an
Thinking
opportunity
of that,
to make him pay
Chung
with his
Minjing
life.
immediately
But
felt
he
that her
didn't do
back
so.
was soaked in cold
Instead,
sweat.
he used so many
Was he targeting the
complicated
Xiao
means,
family?
but
Proved
how was that
this
possible?
wasn't his original
Was
intention.
Uncle Zhao's disappearance
In that
related
case,
to him too?
it should be Qing Zhongfan
Then
and
was
Chung
the
Mingxiang's
disappearance
problem.
of her youngest uncle
Xiao Chen
Chen
Zhongqian related
Actually,
to Chung
what I want to
Mingxiang
say
too?
is one day
Chung
if I get
Minjing
rid
was
of
not
these people,
stupid.
will you be sad?
As for Chung Mingxiang's
Originally,
motive, she
I
quickly
will.
guessed it.
Chung
Zhongqian
Minjing
was the future heir of the
but during
Chung
that
family.
car race,
However,
Qiao Yuliang
Chung
wanted to get rid
Zhongqian
of
was
me
only
too.
about 10
Why
years
should I be
older than
sad for
Chung
them?
Mingxiang.
I don't
In
believe
this
that
way,
it was Qiao
if
Yuliang's
Chung
idea.
Zhongqian were to
As
ascend
for
to
that
the position
Li
of
Shanpao,
young master
there
of
was
the
no
Chung clan,
conflict of interest
Chung
between
Mingxiang
us.
would have no
He
chance
didn't want
at all.
to kill me.
He would lose
I'm
the
relieved to
position
hear
of
that.
young master.
Xiao Chen
Because
smiled.
the day Qing
Thank you
Zhongqian
for
grew
supporting
old,
your fiancé.
he would also grow
When
old.
I return to the
With
Xiao
a gap
family,
of 10 years,
I will treat you as
it was
a hero
impossible
and
for
enshrine
him
to
to
be
be
entrusted with
family's
such a heavy
ancestral hall.
responsibility.
Go to hell.
As for why he
Are you
didn't
cursing
deal
me
with
to
her
die
father,
early?
the current
Chung
young
Minjing
patriarch,
kicked Xiao Chen.
the reason wasn't
Also,
hard to understand.
what is the relationship
She was a
between
woman
me and your
and
Xiao
would
family?
eventually marry.
Whose fiancé
So
are
it was
you?
impossible
You still
for
want
her
to get
father
rid
to
of
pass
others.
down the
You
position
should
of
be careful
patriarch.
first.
Furthermore,
Don't get yourself
her
killed.
father's aptitude was mediocre, and this was publicly acknowledged by the family. In fact, everyone understood that
Chapter
Chung Zhongming's
425.
position as young
Hee hee.
patriarch was
Xiao
merely
Chen
a
smiled.
passing phase.
I'm not going
Once
to talk
Chung
to you
Zhongqian
anymore.
grew up,
I'm going
the position
upstairs
would
to
be
sleep.
handed over.
Chung Minjing
If her guess
said
was
and went
right,
upstairs.
then Chung Mingxiang
By the way,
was a terrifying
I'm going out
person.
tonight. He had
I'll
such a
prepare
good
the meal
plan.
before I leave.
But why did he make
Xiao
Uncle
Chen
Xiao
said to Chung
disappear?
Minjing.
And why did he
And-
target Xiao Chen?
But don't run around
Why
if
was
you
that?
have nothing to do.
Was it really because
if you're
he wanted
killed
to
by
take
someone,
over the Xiao family?
I'll be scolded as
If
a
he
bad
married
husband.
Xiao Xiao and killed
Chung
Xiao
Minjing
Chen
said and
then the
disappeared
Xiao
at the
family
end of
would
the
definitely
stairs.
be in his
Back in the
pocket.
room.
But what did
Xiao
he want
Chen
the Xiao
repeatedly
family
looked
to
at
do?
the two emails.
Although he could gain
was a
some
little
benefits
puzzled.
by doing so,
These two emails
it would
were
not be
definitely
much.
not sent
This
by
was
Miss
because
Xiao.
the Xiao
When the
family
first
did not
email
have
was
much
sent,
financial
Miss Xiao
resources.
didn't know about it.
Even if they
But
managed to
who
obtain
else could it be other than
they would
her?
at most gain
Could
the
it be
title
Xiao
of an
Chuan?
aristocratic
That's
family.
not right.
At
He only
most,
knew
the
about
Chung
my
family
identity
would
as
promote
White
a
Fox
trusted
on Tang
family
Tang's
member
wedding night
to take over the
He had no
position of
reason
the
to
Xiao
please
family.
Xiao Chen's identity before.
This made Xiao Chen a
Chapter
little puzzled.
419.
But he
If the
couldn't
Chung
figure it out
family
no
was
matter
not the
how he
leader of
thought
the
about
Songning
it.
family,
He could only
it
give
would
up
be
for the time
reasonable for
being.
him to do so.
At the same time,
However, in the
given
Xiao
the current
family
status
and
of the Chung family,
today was a
they
joyous
did not
day for
need
the
to
Xiao
do this
family.
at all.
For
The Xiao family did not need
this
to
was a
ally
very
with other
historic
families,
day, because the
therefore,
Xiao family's
Chung
products were
Minjing
introduced
felt
to
that
the
Chung
world.
Mingxiang's action was
Today,
superfluous.
the Sun
and she
family
could
brought
not
two
see
foreign
through it.
businessmen
Bei come
and was
back.
ready to sign a
Let's talk
contract
after you
with
come
the Xiao
back.
family.
Chung
In this way,
Minjing knew that
the
she
Xiao
could not
family's
let business
business
would
would
grow
grow
bigger
bigger
and
and
bigger
bigger.
because
On
she
Xiao
could not get
Yuanshan's
in.
face,
Oh, okay.
there was also a warm
Jean Bei
smile.
replied and
After
turned
all,
around to leave.
The overall
After
situation
entering
of
the
the
villa,
Xiao family was
Qiao
getting
Yuliang
better and
quickly
better.
closed the door.
And Xiao Chen's
As soon
return
as he
to the
raised
Xiao
his head,
family was
he
inevitable.
saw Chung Mingxiang
Although he was
sitting on the
deeply
sofa
poisoned,
waiting for him.
he was still
He
very
hurried to
pleased
flatter
to see the
Xiao
Xiao
family
said,
flourishing day
"Young
by
Master
day.
Chung,
After
sorry
all,
to keep you waiting."
when the Xiao family's
Chung
business
Mingxiang
strength
waved his hand
improved,
and
and
gestured
Xiao Chen
for Qiao
returned to the
Yuliang
Xiao
to sit
family.
down.
Even
Then he
if the
said,
Xiao family
"Qiao
couldn't keep
Yuliang,
the top
I
four
heard
of the
that Xiao Chen
aristocratic
is here today,
families,
right?
They could still
Yes, he's
keep the
here.
bottom five.
Qiao Yuliang
At that
said. time. Besides, because of the marriage between Xiao Xiao and Cheng about Xiao Chen, the Cheng family would have to take care of them. Cheng Mingxiang's interest was piqued. Even if Xiao Yuanshan were to die, Xiao Chen recognized hero White Fox as his boss. He didn't have much time left. Xiao Yuliang said the poison in his body was getting more and more complicated. Cheng Mingxiang frowned immediately. And he couldn't hold on for much longer. Xiao Chen did not have any backing in the past. The Xiao family's main business was sales agents. Now that he had White Fox as his backer, they owned a chain of pharmacies and several chains of supermarkets. All of which purchased orders his father gave him. This kind of sales agent business was limited to one city. It turned out to be so complicated. It was impossible to make much profit. Why was it so difficult to kill ordinary people? This was probably as long as he used Qiao Yuliang, for aristocratic families, would be killed it was really easily. Nothing. He even wanted to create an aristocratic family was quite large because he did not want others to suspect anything. Medicinal liquids, if Qiao Yuliang was for cultivation, were all sky-high couldn't guarantee that he wouldn't betray him. The Xiao family only managed to make ends meet. Not only did Qiao Yuliang fail, and even a little tight, but Chen Jinping, who cooperated with him, also died. But now, as for Xiao with the integration of all the Sun family's channels the White Fox as his boss, those retail stores were all taken out and converted into funds. At the very least, to specialize it would be under the condition that the White Fox did not interfere. Distributors. Qiao Yuliang, once this contract was signed, time and time again, the Xiao family would mainly help this foreign businessman from the beginning to the end and sell them directly. They wouldn't have to spend so much effort to find another buyer. Was furious when he thought of this. There wouldn't be a problem at all. If you can't do it, I'll find someone else. We've really troubled you this time. Yes, I can definitely do it. Xiao Yuliang was shocked and excitedly said, "The young master Xiao family's business can't go unnoticed because definitely not far from death." Haha, Mr. Xiao, you're too kind. How is his relationship with my danger and in dire straits? Cheng suddenly asked. It was your Xiao family who cooperated with us, right? Now that our Sun family has regained our footing, Qiao Yuliang it's also said, because of the Xiao family. Women are a very strange Medicine animal. Master Sun smiled and said, Our Sun family doesn't covet too much profit. If they are together for a long time, we're already very happy. It is inevitable to make a living under the Xiao family's Once they fall in love with that man, Medicine Master Sun don't worry him. With the Xiao family what around, I mean? The Sun family will definitely not suffer a loss. Knew that Cheng Mingxiang was talking about Medicine Master Sun's shoulder gratefully. In fact, he was also hinting to Chen and didn't know how to be taken care of, but his face was full of gratitude. That would be very disadvantageous Medicine Master Sun. Okay, the two foreign businessmen are here. I am going upstairs. At this time, Sun Yiming waved in and said to Medicine Master Sun and Xiao could leave. Okay, Medicine Master retreated and let's go welcome them together. But he was thinking about how and Medicine Master Sun walked to the doors in the room. At this time, turned off two Japanese people walked in at the TV screen, and behind them were two beautiful female bodyguards. The frozen image was a bloody skull. Mr. Xiao, it was very horrifying. This is Mr. Maeda, the purchasing manager of the Golden Island Herb Sales the play button. Beside him is his assistant. There was a burst of horrified screams. Medicine Master Sun introduced them to Xiao Hai. Mr. Maeda hugged her arms and curled up on the sofa. Xiao Hai warmly went over to shake their hands. When she saw Cheng Mingxiang all the business of the Xiao family was handled by Medicine Master Sun. Come and watch this movie with me. It is too scary. The negotiations I don't dare with to foreign businessmen. Okay, Xiao Hai was only the chairman in name. Cheng Mingxiang smiled and he wasn't good at business at all. He reached out and hugged pharmacies and supermarkets in the past. If you hug him dizzy, there won't be such a scary atmosphere. Now that the business had expanded overseas, Xiao pushed Cheng Mingxiang away calmly. And brain to support it. She hadn't made the final preparations yet. He could only give full authority to Medicine Master smiled and Sun. He didn't force Xiao. Fortunately, in his opinion, these two people were very obedient. Some things were reasonable and didn't need to him about all the big and small matters. Qiao Yuliang returned to the dining room. He knew about the cooperation with the foreign businessmen before, chatting not far away. He didn't know whether he should go over or not. They reached an agreement according to the conditions. They said they were talking about something private, so he came to sign the contract officially to show that he was back. Mr. Xiao, I've heard a lot about you. Xiao Liangzi is back. The two people in your company are really amazing. You don't have to tell me. They made us have no choice but to give in again and again. Said, okay, that's it. Xiao Chen suspects Mr. Maeda said with the mastermind. Medicine Master Sun is really good at grading the quality of herbs to find a chance to kill him. And this director's son doesn't give even an inch in terms of price. Asked Jean Bebe. I admire you. What do you mean, Mr. Xiao? Xiao Chen is no match for him. The company doesn't have to worry about not making money. Don't make random suggestions. You flatter me. Cheng Minjing after Xiao Hai heard that, why should I be sad? He smiled happily. Girls from big families have to get married eventually. Then according to our previous agreement, what the Cheng family is like has nothing to do with me in the future. Then our Xiao family will set up a banquet. Isn't she also loyal after we sign the contract? Oh, we will celebrate together. Her family's way of education was different from the other big families. Mr. Maeda laughed heartily. Therefore, Jean Bebe after had the contract was signed, belonging to the Mr. Maeda asked Mr. Fly to pay the purchase deposit. Xiao In's also and returned. On the Sun family's side, he saw Qiao Yuliang they could start purchasing in large quantities. He had investigated before and knew that Qiao also attended the banquet, but he quickly left. In the eyes of outsiders, he smiled and walked toward Qiao Yuliang to the Sun family. Xiao Chen was no longer a match for him. Health was getting worse. He was just a follower of Cheng Minjing, and he wasn't in the right condition to drink. After he settled at Cheng Minjing, Xiao Hai's face was full of smile, however he wanted. And Medicine Master Qiao Yuliang was a threat. Therefore, foreign businessmen were all smiling. He didn't know why, but his mood suddenly became heavy. Chow Yun smiled brightness and extended on the surface to Chow Yuliang. But thinking about it carefully, Chow Yuliang did not know Chow Ens. This was all the credit of the Sun family. He did not go to the same school as Xiao Chun and Chung Minjing and family went on their own. He went there after high school. The family would once again return to their previous situation. Moreover, he could only pray was in the third year of high school, Chung Minjing was in the first year of junior high, and tried their best to let Xiao Chun return and marry had already graduated. As long as they gave birth to a descendant, it would be strange if he knew martial power. Let me introduce myself. The Xiao family would basically have no worries. Minjing's childhood sweetheart. The idea was good. Xiao En said, it just wasn't known if it could be realized. I heard that you are from the secular Chow family. Don't come here if you have nothing to do. To the entrance of the warrior guild. Since he had promised Lu Shuangshuang, is there something wrong with you? Promise. Chow Yuliang was stunned. Was already standing at the entrance, looking around excitedly. Do you have anything to do with me? When she saw Xiao Chen's car, she immediately walked up, opened the door and from the law enforcement hall, she said with a secular headquarters of the warrior guild. You really kept your promise. Xiao En smiled and said, thank you this time. Chow Yuliang, all right, let's not talk about this. What do you think of the suggestion I told you before? Chen's words were slightly sluggish. Because the white light appeared again. So what if you are from the warrior guild? Was secretly taking what does it have to do with you that I am pursuing the goddess? This was the second time he had such a feeling. If you have the ability, however, get engaged with the entrance of the warrior guild, and I will quit. Xiao Chen didn't dare to curled his lips and scolded. It wasn't good to show his strength. Do you really think you are someone important? The person who took pictures leave. Xiao Ens was a little dumbfounded. Xiao Chun was a little puzzled. His identity was quite useful in front of the disciples of the secular families. Xiao Chen started the car and had to curry favor without batting an eyelid. What was wrong with this Chow Yuliang? Did he not know his power and strength? Where is it? What about you? The reunion is in the nearby Jiduan City, Chow Yuliang Immortal Resort. I am in charge of investigating the crimes of the disciples of the secular families. Lu Shuangshuang said, you do not know what I do, do you? But it's not far from Songling City. I know. It's already out of the city. If Chow Yuliang did not cooperate with Chung Why didn't you say so earlier? He would naturally be afraid of Xiao speechless. But now he had no choice. A reunion would only take one night. In this way, he could invite Xiao Chen out to stay there for the night. He could also ask Xiao Chen to help him cultivate with Yi Xiaoya again. How could he find Xiao Chen in the future? Compared to this, Xiao En usually going to the resort to play was more terrifying. Lu Shuangshuang said weakly, Chung had the ability to make an ordinary person become a martial artist like him. It wasn't good to go back on his words. If someone said that the Chung family did not have the support of a ruthless person, just as he came out from the warrior guild, even the warrior guild could go to the highway around the city. When we get there, stage you just say that you are my boyfriend. But Chung Mingqiang don't be exposed. Moreover, he controlled Chow Yuliang's lifeline. I don't talk much anyway. It was impossible for Chow Yuliang to ruin his business. nodded and agreed because of Chow En's threat. But you have to cooperate. Chow En was about to explode. You have to brag about how rich you are or something. Xiao Chen was a stubborn person. Xiao Chen said, Yuliang was I'm just a poor bastard. What the hell was wrong with them? You drive such a good car when you are poor? Chow Yuliang did not commit any crime. Didn't believe it. It was not good for him to investigate him. Mine. Chow Yuliang turned around, said Xiao Chen, and walked towards Chung Minjing. If you don't believe it, Xiao En was so angry that he followed behind. Xiao Chen was afraid that Lu Shuangshuang went to visit old Master Chen and always ask him for help. So he hinted that Chung Minjing could be his concubine. Moreover, he also hinted that he was one of the candidates to become the warrior guild's president. It really wasn't Xiao Chen's name. It could be seen that old Master Chen was moved. Can't you brag? However, you helped me brag. Zhongming and Chen Zhongfan expressed strong opposition. Lu Shuangshuang suddenly saw that both his sons were unanimously against it. He didn't cooperate with her at all. So he did not say anything. She complained. This immediately made Xiao En's depressed. Lu Shuangshuang was also somewhat puzzled. If you don't have money against, then you don't have money against it because why do you have to brag that you are rich? Could it be that Chung Zhongfan was against to be a sugar daddy? Chow Yuliang? Xiao Chen didn't understand Lu Shuangshuang's way of thinking. Of course, this was not the case. Yes. Lu Shuangshuang did not care whether Chow Yuliang was Chow Yuliang or not. Speechless. He was just a chess piece that I didn't say anything. I will cooperate with you. Was just a temptation and reward for him. If Chung Mingqiang wanted to matchmake them, then so be it. If not, Chung Zhongfan would not interfere. What he was really worried about was Xiao En's identity. He always brought the warrior guild's law enforcement to school to show off. Because what he was going to do in the future was not difficult for him to show the warrior guild's rules. He just did not want to be a busybody now. However, Lu Shuangshuang was right. Chapter 420. He should help her to the end. That Xiao En's was a good person. Once. If Xiao En would not come again in the future, or even report it, unless he had nothing better to do, would lose more than he gained. That's great. Therefore, It was better to have less contact with this kind of person. You have to act more intimate with me. His strong opposition. Don't let the cat out of the bag. Xiao En's. Don't worry. Full of anger. I'm taking advantage of you. On Qiao Yuliang's Isn't that right? Listening to was really annoyed by Lu Shuangshuang. He suspected that the Cheng family and the Qiao family Lu Shuangshuang's face turned red. An agreement her breathing quickened, by marriage, and her expression became unnatural. Thinking about it, however, she did not avoid it. Therefore, in Xiao En's heart, yes, that's right. He also hated Qiao Yuliang. He planned to deal with White Fox. He touched the middle of her thigh and pressed it a few times. At the same time, Lu Shuangshuang fabricated a little crime against Qiao Yuliang to mess with together. At that time, he investigated a big case. Didn't you ask me to be intimate? The higher-ups shouldn't interfere. You think I can't deal with investigating Qiao Yuliang? If I don't teach you a lesson, thinking of this, you don't have many requests. Qiao En snorted coldly. Even if you hire an extra, he had already won. It's not that troublesome, right? What do you want to eat? You don't have to be so intimate. Qiao Yuliang stared at Xiao Chen and stammered. She was furious. What do you want to drink? Lin really misjudged him. I'll help you get it. This Xiao Chen was a pervert. Also walked over and pretended to be serious. I don't want to eat anything. But in fact, go ahead. He was actually so perverted. Cheng Minjing shook her head. How could she have any appetite? Why would I bring him here at the last family? And on the other side was Xiao Chen. He did not expect Lu Shuangshuang to subconsciously clamp her thighs to make a choice. He could not help but be amused. She might say you don't want to use the Cheng family, but you actually do. The Cheng family was her family. Why would you clamp it so tightly? How could she be partial to outsiders? Xiao Chen was so hateful. To press it a few more times. Shen Jingxian and Kerlin in front of her. Hurriedly spread her legs apart as his fiancée and moved Xiao Chen's hand away with her whether he died or not. She said, if he died, she would be free. But now, you asked for it. After spending so much time with Xiao Chen, what's more, Lin Minjing found that Xiao Chen was actually a very good person. You were the one who misunderstood. Slowly shifted. Did she not explain it to you? Mingxiang was her younger really brother. Not her boyfriend. To be honest, Lu Shuangshuang took a deep breath very close and closed her legs again. Besides, he wanted to harm Xiao Chen. She shifted her body if he was killed by Xiao Chen, not giving Xiao Chen he would only have himself to take advantage of her, and she would not help either side. Xiao Chen said, but if you can accept it, got what he wanted, the level of intimacy Xiao Chen was an ordinary person without any strength. Then you can do it yourself. Fight Cheng Mingchang? You. Cousin Minjing, what's wrong? Lu Shuangshuang gritted her teeth. Discovered that Cheng Minjing was not in a good turn to be surprised. Is it because of my cousin-in-law and to show the suitor that she had a boyfriend? Yes. There was no need to not deny it, right? She nodded. If it was normal, he wouldn't die if we don't court death. Jean Bebe said, Cousin Minjing, this is the truth. Even if he accompanied Shen Jingxian to go out, Cheng Minjing thought about it and agreed. There was no need to always show affection to Shen Jingxian. He definitely wouldn't die, right? Therefore, I'm worried about Xiao Chen didn't understand cousin-in-law. Lu Shuangshuang was don't thinking, worry. And my cousin-in-law is a transformer. Xiao Chen was really very speechless. Awesome. Since Lu Shuangshuang once felt that there was no problem, he will become an awesome person. Say anything more. Jean Bebe said it was as if he had to take advantage of Lu Shuangshuang. Cheng Minjing rolled her eyes at Jean Bebe. Xiao Chen wanted to teach her a lesson. Jean Bebe said, to be honest, Cheng Minjing planned to tell Xiao Chen about this when she got home. With his previous identity, she wanted him to be young master of the Xiao family. Wasn't the White Fox swordsman even if he was a loser? If hero White Fox were to take action, to him, then Cheng Minjing would definitely not those women were only interested in his money. In fact, as long as he gave them money, they would do it. Close to Cheng Minjing. However, Xiao Chen had no interest in this kind of woman at all. Didn't want anyone to Never mind that he was infatuated with Shen Jingxian didn't want to talk to her. Even if he wasn't infatuated with Xiao En's could only stare at each other. He wouldn't have any interaction with those women. Xiao En's also understood that it was impossible to start from the Cheng family. She wouldn't do things that violated her dignity because of money. Therefore, he could only work on Cheng Minjing. But her character was not the same as Kerlin's. The Cheng family wouldn't for Xiao Chen's promise to her. Moreover, she would have turned around the top aristocratic family in Songmi. Well, anyway, it's only once. Threaten them. I will do whatever you say. Xiao Chen said faintly. Xiao En stared at each other for the whole night. Just once is fine. Then they left. Lu Shuangshuang nodded happily. To stay there. The car rushed all the way and finally came to the immortal resort in Jiduan City. To Cheng Minjing. This Jiduan City was a tourist city. And Jean Bebe went to rest early. The edge of several cities. It was meaningless for them to stay surrounded by them. They might as well go back and show their geographical location and beautiful scenery. There were many running into world-class reunions. In his opinion, and company meetings. The current situation was good enough. Parked the car at least he could go in and out of the Cheng family freely. Then he got off with impossible in the past and walked to the place where her classmates signed in. Why didn't everything go smoothly after he arrived in Songmi City? Top of the line Land Rover. He wanted to investigate the luxury car here. But he was stopped by Song Huawu and didn't have a chance to show off. He had finally found Yang Jiannan to rely on after much difficulty. Her classmates couldn't see it. But the White Fox still ignored him. Xiao Chen thought that Lu Shuangshuang would let him drive the car directly to the place to sign and to show off, and then stop back. He even met Qiao Yuliang, the Shuangshuang didn't mention it. This Songning city really drove him crazy. In the past, could it be that this gold-digging girl forgot to carry out missions? It was better if she didn't mention people. Xiao Chen was too lazy couldn't wait to treat him. He wouldn't look for trouble for himself. They were respectful and afraid of him. At Xijing Middle School in Songning City, he felt like AF asterisk the two walked to the front of a standalone resort building. They saw a line of flashing text on the electronic LED screen in front of the resort building. I'll definitely tear you into pieces. Xijing Middle School grade 4 all the blame to White Fox reunion, thinking that it was White Junior High School for 4 years. Are you repeating the subsequent setbacks? In the middle of the night, Xiao Chen asked as he waited for a text on the screen, but the White Fox swordsman didn't come over to duel cultivate with her. Glanced at Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoya was a little anxious. 54-1 system. She had been progressing very quickly recently, and it was all thanks was a little to their dual cultivation this every night. Lu Shuangshuang still dares to talk back to me? She wanted to send a message to White Fox to ask if Xiao Chen's eyes, but Yi Xiaoya hesitated for a while and something was wrong. It seemed that her words were a little harsh. She thought that she had to take off her tongue and said carefully, cultivation. I'm sorry. She was a girl. I'm used to talking to my friends. So how could she take the initiative? I won't talk to you next time. She thought that White Fox would come after a while. I'm not a glass-hearted person. Send a message. But it was already 3 in the morning. You are Kerlin's friend. Still hadn't appeared. I also consider you as a friend. Yi Xiaoya didn't sleep all night. But you should understand waiting for that him. We can only be regarded as ordinary friends. Sent a message to White Fox. It's okay to joke around. Where the hell are you? But this is the last time you come to help. The push notification on the Cultivators Guild's app. Don't worry. As long as it's done today, he had been so busy that he had forgotten about this matter. Lu Shuangshuang said quickly. He said apologetically. Xiao Chen nodded. A friend of mine was into the lobby on the first floor of the resort. I am in his house, preparing to stand up for him. In the lobby, there was a check-in table. Do you need me to go? There were 2 people sitting behind saw the message and there were many people standing next to them. After all, obviously, White Fox had something to do and didn't not boyfriend or girlfriend of her classmates. You plan. If you come, Lu Shuangshuang, you'll be standing up for him in the name of Demon Star Sect. That's not good, right? Lu Shuangshuang the other party is the Ouyang clan of the provincial capital. And walked over. The martial arts Long time no see. Xiao Chen said, I haven't seen you for years. It's okay, wait for me. Did you miss me? Yi Xiaoya was obviously not afraid of the Ouyang clan. Boyfriend? Speaking of which, the demon sect as soon as the righteous sects opened her mouth, small conflicts she led the topic to Xiao Chen. They didn't take it seriously at all. Was slightly stunned. Of course, they were all small-scale conflicts. This is my boyfriend, Xiao Chen. It was impossible for 2 powerful clans to fight to the death. They do business overseas. Xiao Chen had no choice but to give the Yu clan's address. She had no idea what Xiao Chen's family said to Yu Xiaochuan. Really? My partner, Li Xianer smiled in disbelief. Then she waved at a guy not far away. Tomorrow, we'll stand up for old pig together. Let me introduce you to a good friend. Don't reveal my identity. The boy was about 1. She doesn't know my identity. 75 meters tall. Don't let it slip. He wasn't tall. Xiao Chen was afraid that Yi Xiaoya would kill him after knowing that he was Xiao Chen. His leather shoes and belt were from LV. And we all wearing a jade ring on his finger. Yu Xiaochuan said quickly that it was expensive. He was a little excited. Xianer, Boss Xiaochuan was introduced to me. That girl from the guy named Dajuan walked over in a flashy manner. Boss. He put his arm around Li Xianer's shoulder and asked, this is my good friend from junior high, Yu Shan, Tang Tang. Now she isn't in university. Also nodded in agreement. She's mingling in the underworld. They didn't want to bring unnecessary trouble to Dajuan. After a while, Yi Xiaoya arrived. His family does export. She was wearing a tight outfit and looked cool. Dajuan looked at Xiao Chen. She had the aura of a heroine and then looked at Lu Shuangshuang. Early the next morning, his eyes suddenly lit up. Came to the Yu clan again at dawn and said to Xiao Chen, however, when he walked into the living room, he was slightly stunned. Is your family doing export trade? When he saw White Fox and Yi Bai sitting at the head of the living room, his face suddenly changed. It's just a small business. He also went to watch Ouyang Tang's summit competition. Naturally, he knew who Hero White Fox was. However, he didn't expect the only one in his family now would be sitting here. He sold breakfast at the morning market also a branch of a righteous sect? Of course, it was a small business. This is my name related to the demon sect. I'm from the Xia family in the provincial capital. Guests. If you want to expand your business, Ouyang Liang forced himself to calm down and said, glanced at Lu Shuangshuang and Yu Shanshan, what's wrong? Then he handed a name card to Xiao Chen. Is it the Xianer naturally saw Dajuan's intentions? Ouyang Liang and asked. She followed Dajuan. Hero White Fox, very well. Him. This Dajuan liked to have threesomes with familiar people. Who are you? Such as Li Xianer's classmates, friends, and even cousins. Yesterday, you had been dragged down by her. Tough and injured. This was also the reason why Dajuan didn't abandon Li Xianer. Finally confirmed that White Fox was asked to stand up for him. Drag people to have threesomes and wanted to leave. This Lu Shuangshuang was naturally specially introduced to Dajuan by Li Xianer. It was impossible for him to compete with White Fox. He was
the
from
number
the
one
family
person
in the
summit.
provincial capital.
Although he was a collateral relative,
Isn't
he was
you
still
clan
a
a
super
righteous
rich
sect?
young master.
How dare you collude with
Luciana
the
was
demon
already
sect?
very lucky.
If this
to
matter
be able
is
to
known
get
by the
close to
righteous
him.
sect's
I
martial
can't
arts
find it.
alliance master,
Xiao Chun threw
you
the
know
name
the
card into his
consequences.
pocket.
Oyang
My
Liang
business
threatened.
is too small.
The Yu clan
can't
is
be
not
found.
enough to invite me.
Haha, brother,
Xiao Chun
don't say
said
that.
indifferently.
Haven't you heard of a
Xiang
saying?
is my little
The
brother.
more daring a person
was beaten
is,
by
the
you.
more productive
I'm only
he is.
here to ask for an
Dajuan
explanation.
patted Xiao Chen's
Yu
shoulder
Xiaochun was
earnestly.
not unhappy with Xiao Chen's
Xiao
words.
Chen nodded casually
Instead,
and didn't
he felt
bother
that
with
Xiao
him
Chun was
anymore.
loyal.
Lu
and did not
also
implicate
noticed
the Yu
that this
clan.
Lieutenant
He only
had completely
highlighted that he was
changed.
asked to come
She
by
was
Zhu
completely
Yingxiong.
different from
This
when she
way,
was in school.
the Yu clan would
she
not
suddenly
have much
lost
to do with
interest
the
and
Yu
said to
clan.
Lieutenant,
As for the Zhu
Xiao
clan,
Chen's family
it was
is
just
very
a small
rich.
family.
He doesn't
This
need
kind
to
of
get family
close
could
to the
be
Xia
either
family.
righteous or
What
demonic.
is the Xia family?
It was not like
It's
the Yu
nothing
clan,
compared to Xiao
which was a
Chen's
branch
family.
of the Yu clan of
Lu
Zhenwu.
Shuangshuang's voice
It had
was
already
very
been
loud.
labeled as a righteous
The students
sect
next to
and
her
could
all
not
heard
be
it.
changed.
Dajuan
Unless
and
the
Liu
Yu
Xiana
clan
were
of
stunned at
Zhenwu
first,
changed their
then
faction.
they laughed out loud.
The Yu clan of Song Ning would not be able to change their faction so easily. So it's him. Chapter 427. Heart tightened. May I ask what family you are from? Was found by the Yu
Your
clan.
business is actually
it could be
bigger
solved
than
with
the
a little
Xia family
negotiation
in the provincial capital.
However, kid,
if it was found by
Zhu
Zhu
the name
Yingxiong,
of your family,
this matter would
do you
not
believe
end so
that I can
easily.
make your family
He had
lose
seen
its
White
foothold
Fox
in the
as ruthless
province
with
just
its-
one phone call?
Those who provoked him would not
Dajuan
have a
looked
good
at Xiao
ending.
Chen coldly.
He subconsciously
Lu
took 2
Shuangshuang
steps
was
back.
slightly stunned. Looking at the strange expressions of the
Chapter
students around
421.
her,
She
standing at
realized
the entrance,
that she seemed to have gotten into trouble.
dryly. She was
Haha,
shocked. So that's how
the
it
Xia
is.
family in the
That's a
provincial
misunderstanding.
capital?
Could it be
Just
the Xia
pretend that I
family
never
supplied
came.
goods to the
I'll leave
warriors'
first.
market?
Let's
That
not
was a
talk
truly
about the
monstrous
engagement anymore.
existence.
Did I let you go?
Lu
Xiao
Shuangshuang
Chun
did
said
not think
coldly
about it
when
at
he
all.
saw Oyang Liang
After
trying
all,
to escape.
the warriors'
White
market
Fox,
and ordinary
I didn't
business
know that
families
Zhu
were on
Yingxiong
2
is your
different
little
levels.
brother.
There
Let's
was no
forget about
overlap.
this.
How
What
could
else
the
do you
boyfriend
want?
of one of her
Oyang Liang
classmates
asked
be from a
weakly.
martial
Oh,
arts
you
family?
seriously injured
But
him.
now, listening
And you
to
want
his
to forget
tone,
about this?
it seemed to be the
Xiao
case.
Chen asked.
Xiao Chen didn't
what
blame
else do
Lu
you want?
Shuangshuang.
Oyang
When he
Liang's
saw her
breath
nervous
stagnated.
face, he knew
Well,
that she was
as
already
soon as
regretting
Xiao Chen's
it.
voice fell,
Those
he
who
made
didn't
a
know
move.
better couldn't be
With a
blamed.
seemingly gentle
What
wave.
annoyed Xiao Chen
Oyang Liang
was that
flew
he
out
had
and
never
fell
seen
heavily
this
on the
army
ground,
before, vomiting
Yet they
blood.
claimed to be
It
from
was
the
unknown
provincial
whether he
capital's
was dead
Xia
or
clan.
alive. Even
Yu
Xia Huang
Xiaochuan
of
was
the Xia
shocked.
family did
He
not
didn't
dare
know when
to make
Xiao
a
Chen
fuss in
became
front
so
of him.
ruthless.
Even the head
Was
of the
this
family,
person really the
Xiaochuan,
original Xiao
did
Chen?
not dare to
Or was the
disrespect
previous
him.
Xiao Chen
There
just
is
a
no need to
disguise?
tell you. Thinking
My
of
name
this,
is Xiao Chen.
Yu Xiaochuan
If you
felt
have
a
the
burst
ability,
of fear.
you can
If
ask
Xiao
the
Chen
Xia
didn't
family
like
to
me
kill me.
before, would he have
Xiao
become
Chen
a
said
corpse?
lightly.
Fortunately,
Why don't we each make a
he
phone
changed
call?
his gender.
I can
and
ask the
didn't do
Xia
anything
family
bad
to
kick
kick
you out of the family.
Otherwise,
Provided
he wouldn't
that
be
you
able
are
to
from the
escape.
Xia family.
Inform the
Ha ha
Oyang
ha
clan
ha.
to collect the body
Dajuan could
and
not
tell
help
them
but
what
laugh
happened.
wildly.
Xiao
Kick
Chen
me out
said
of the
to Yu
family?
Xiaochuan.
His cousin
Put all
was
the
Xia
blame
Chen.
on me.
Xia Chen
Tell
was
the
a core
Oyang
disciple
clan
of
that
the
if they
Xia
have the
family.
ability,
In the
they
company,
can challenge
he
the
was very
demonic
valued by
star
Xia
sect.
Chen.
Yi
He even
Xiaoyan
handed
interrupted.
over some of the more lucrative jobs to
Yu
him.
Xiaochuan didn't
So
dare
of course,
to neglect.
he did not
After
believe that a
all,
word from
the
Xiao Chen
disciple
could
of the
kick
Oyang
him
clan
out
of
of the
Zhenwu
Xiao
died
family.
in the Yu clan
That
of
was not
Songning.
realistic. If it wasn't handled
If you don't
well,
believe me,
it might
then
cause
make a
a
phone
series
call.
of troubles.
Xiao Chen
But
shrugged
now that the
indifferently.
troubles were taken
More
by
and
the
more
demonic
people
star
came to watch
sect,
the show.
the Yu clan had
Suddenly,
nothing to
there was
worry
a
about.
commotion in the
Yu
crowd.
Xiaochuan
A
called
man
the
with a
Oyang
large
clan of
build
Zhenwu
and a
and
round
told them
waist
what
walked
happened
over
here.
with a follower.
Although Oyang
When he
Liang
looked
came from
closely,
a
he
side
was suddenly
branch,
happy.
he was still one
Lu
of the
Shuangshuang,
outstanding
you are
disciples
here?
of the clan.
What happened here?
Although he
Did
didn't
you have a
explicitly
conflict with
say
someone?
that he would
I will
participate
stand
in
up
the
for you.
competition for
Tell
the young
me,
master.
who provoked Shuangshuang?
He was also one of the disciples who would
Shuangshuang
be
already
trained
has
in
a
the
boyfriend,
future. And
now
her
he had
boyfriend
actually
is
died
very
in the Yu
powerful.
clan.
With a wave of his
he was
hand,
killed by
he can
people
drive
from
my
the demon
husband out of
star
the
sect.
family. How
He's
could the
really a
Oyang
ruthless
clan not be
person in our
furious?
class.
However,
You're just a
the
commoner.
people from
Don't
the
get
Oyang
involved.
family were not fools.
Lixianer said coldly.
They had heard of the White Fox hero's
If name.
Fat Bear naturally
He knew that the White
Li
Fox
Xianer's
swordsman
boyfriend
had been in the
Xie
limelight
Kanjun
recently,
was from
he
the Xie
possessed the
family
strength
in
of a
provincial
demonic
capital.
cultivator at the peak of Stage 8 internal force.
He also knew that
With
although
such
he was
strength,
doing well in the
there were
marketplace,
few who could rival him
it was
among the younger
impossible for him
generation,
to compete with
at
the
least
Xie
among
family.
the true martial
Only
arts
his master could
aristocratic
challenge
families.
them.
However,
the current
just
patriarch
because
of the
he didn't
Ouyang
dare to
clan
go against
was
the
an
Xie
extremely
family,
powerful
didn't
expert,
mean that he didn't
couldn't
dare
act.
to go against Xiao
If he
Chen.
did,
Although
it would be
Li Xianer
equivalent to
described
provoking
how
the
powerful
other
Lu
sections.
Shuang's boyfriend
If he
was,
killed the White
he
Fox,
wasn't an idiot.
the old
He
monsters
could hear
of
the
Devil's
mockery and
Star
fear in
would
her
come out
voice
and massacre the
Fu
Ouyang clan.
Shuang, is this your boyfriend?
At
Fat
that
Bear
time,
had suffered a setback.
it would be a
at Li
large-scale
Xianer's
conflict.
hands. So
Not
he was
only
filled
would the
with
Martial
anger,
Artists
he
Guild
turned
not
to look
allow
at
it.
Xiao Chen and
Even the
shouted
Supernatural
angrily,
Investigation
"Look at you.
Bureau would
You're
step
just a
in
piece
and
of
interfere.
trash.
Even
Make
the
a phone
Martial
call,
Arts Alliance
and I'll
Master
see if you can
and
drive
the demonic
Xie
Kanjun
Kanjun
out of the
Master
Xie family
would not allow such
if
a
you can, then
large-scale
you're amazing.
conflict.
If
that
he
was
can't,
a violation
then
of the
leave
peace
Lu
agreement
Shuangshuang
that
as soon
everyone
as
had
possible.
signed back then.
We don't want the goddess of our
conflicts
class to be
between
with the big
sex were
liar
prohibited.
who only knows how to
It didn't matter
brag.
if it was a personal
After
conflict.
Xie Kanjun heard this,
but it was
his
absolutely
face
not
changed
allowed
slightly.
to escalate to
He
a
did not
conflict
expect
between
that although
sections.
Fat Bear looked a little stupid,
although Liang
his
Heir was
IQ
born
not
from my
stupid
personal
at all.
maid.
He wanted
was
to
also
lead
a
the
key
conflict
disciple
between
of our
Fat
Ouyang
Bear
clan
and Xiao
He
Chen,
can't die in vain,
so that he could sit back
the man
and
with
watch.
the sad face was
Speaking
Ouyang
of
Liang
which,
and Ouyang Tang's
regardless
father,
of whether it was
Ouyang
Xiao
Hudu,
Chen saying
his
that he would
uncle was
chase
the
him
current
out of the
patriarch
Xie
of the
family with
Ouyang
a phone
clan,
call,
Ouyang Jumba,
or that he would
he
make
was
Xiao
also the
Chen's
pillar of
family
the
lose their
Ouyang
footing
clan,
with a phone
an
call.
old monster-level
He felt that
existence.
these were just ruthless
Only the
words
people
meant
of the
to
Ouyang
infuriate
clan knew
him.
how long he
It
had
was
lived.
impossible for
Of
them to
course,
be realized.
his age at
Not
this
to
time
mention
was
him.
already several
Even
times
Xie
the
Chen could
lifespan
not
of an
propose to
ordinary
deal with the
person.
family.
Care,
Why would the
can I do
Xie
it?
family listen to them?
Ouyang Jumba
What
said
the
coldly.
Xie family needed was
Ouyang
to make
Liang
money,
Tang,
not
don't
to fight
use your
with other
brains.
families.
Don't you know
if they
who you
always
can
fought
provoke
with other
and who you
families,
can't?
then
That
the
white
Xie
fox
family
is
would
now
not
in
have
the limelight
developed to where it was
provoking
now.
his people.
Therefore,
Isn't that
when he
courting
saw
death?
Fat Bear,
Then
he
this
directly
hatred
led the
can't be
trouble to him.
avenged.
He did
Ouyang
not
Hudu
expect
said
Fat
with
Bear to
grief
come
and
back.
indignation.
You want to
Third
see?
brother,
Don't
Xiao
you
Chen
understand
remembered the
father's
purpose
words?
of this trip.
The one who
Lu
spoke was
Shuangshuang
Ouyang
wanted
Jumba's
to show him
son,
to Fat
Ouyang
Bear
Hetian,
and make him give
Father
up.
just told the
Therefore,
children of our Ouyang
how could
clan
Xiao
not
Chen
to be
refuse
impulsive.
such a way to
We
kill
have to
two
plan
birds with
before
one
we act.
stone?
He
Yes,
immediately
Hudu,
took
you
out
have
his
to learn
phone
from Hetian
and walked to a
How many
corner where
times
there was
have I
no
said
one.
it?
Why
Don't
are
you
you
remember
sneaking
the
on the
examples
phone?
I gave you?
Why don't you call in front of
Ouyang
us?
Jumba said. As soon
What I
as he
said
saw
is my
Xiao
personal
Chen's
experience.
Fat Bear
My two
immediately
cousins,
understood.
because they offended
This
a ruthless
Xiao Chen most
person,
likely did not
they
have
both
any
died
power.
tragically.
He pretended
This is
to
a
run
living
to the side
example
to
to
make a
tell
phone
you
call
that you shouldn't
when the
provoke
time
people
came
that you
he
shouldn't
could call
provoke.
a random number
But now,
and find an excuse
Ouyang
to
Hudu
avoid
smiled
it.
bitterly.
At this moment,
his ears were
Xie
getting
Kanjuan's
calluses
eyes
from
were
listening
also
to
filled
the
with
family's
mockery.
teachings.
It seemed
But
that
at that
Xiao Chen
time,
really didn't
the
have any
Ouyang clan was
capabilities.
just an underworld
He was
family,
just putting on an
like
act
the Songming Lu
and wasn't a
clan.
threat at all.
Now the Ouyang
Xie
clan was a
Kanjuan's
real martial
previous
arts
worries
family.
were groundless.
Was there anything wrong with
Xiaohuang,
this?
is there a
It could
person
only be
named
said
Xie
that
Kanjun
Ouyang
in your
Tang
family
and Ouyang Liang
Xiao
were
Chen dialed
unlucky.
Xiaohuang's
They kicked
phone
an
number
iron plate
and asked directly.
Usually, there is one
Ouyang
white
Hutian's
fox
son
hero.
was also
What's
bullying
wrong?
outside.
Why are you
But he
suddenly
didn't see
asking
him
this
being
question?
beaten to death.
However, he couldn't say this.
Who
Xie
asked him to be
with
so
some
unlucky?
confusion.
I can't
It's good
do
that
it,
there
but
is.
as their father you
This
can.
person offended
Although
my
it's a bit
underling.
bullying,
Tell
at
him to
least
get
it's
lost.
in line with the rules.
If he doesn't,
Ouyang
I will
Jumba
personally
said,
make him disappear from the earth.
I'm not his opponent.
Xiao Chen said directly,
Ouyang Hudu's face
not hiding the
changed.
threat in his
He
words.
was just a martial artist
Yes,
at the 8th level
I
of
will
inner
do it
force.
immediately.
He was not
Xie
even
Chen
as
was
good as
shocked
White
and
Fox.
quickly nodded.
Wasn't he courting
How can
death?
I let White Fox
There
hero
may
do
be
it
other
yourself?
opportunities.
Don't worry.
In the next
I
righteous
can do it
devil
myself.
summit.
Give
Let
me a
Kwang
minute.
Er do it.
Okay.
This White Fox
Xiao Chen
must
hung
be
up the phone
eliminated,
directly.
but not now.
Xie didn't have Xie Kanjuan's phone
Ouyang
number.
Jumba said faintly.
This person was just a
Hetian,
distant
when Kwang Er
relative
comes
of the
out,
Xie
ask
family.
him to see me.
He had no direct contact
father.
with Xie
Ouyang
Hetian
The
quickly
reason
said,
why he knew
this
was
Ouyang
that
Kwang
Xie
was his
Chen
son.
recommended this
He was
person
now
to
a
him,
martial artist,
saying
at the
that he
peak of
was
the
an
10th
employee
level
of
of
the
inner
company.
force.
He
Xie
was
Chen,
now in a life
you
and death
immediately
retreat.
tell the person
For a
named
martial
Xie
artist,
Kanjun to get
it was
lost.
the most important
in the
hurdle
future,
in life.
Our
If
Xie
he could
family
break
doesn't
through,
need him.
he would be like a carp
directly
leaping
called
through the
Xie
dragon's
Chen and
gate.
ordered. However,
Brother,
Ouyang Kwang
what do you
didn't
mean?
seem to be interested in the fight
This
for the
person
head
is
of
not
the family.
bad.
He
He
is
had been
very
training
dedicated.
crazily since he was a
Xie Chen was
child.
taken aback.
He was also
He
crazy
didn't know
about
what was going
challenging
on.
others.
Xie
He liked
Kanjun
the
was his
feeling of
confidant
stepping on all the
and often
masters
bought
of his
goods with high
generation.
rebates.
Ouyang
Most of the
Hudu,
rebates
go
were
and
given
ask
to
someone
him.
to bring
Xie
Ouyang
Chen had
Liang's
made a
body
fortune
back.
in the past
Don't
few
have any
years.
conflict with
How
White
could
Fox.
he chase away such
This
a useful
matter will be
person?
decided after
The
Kwang
offended
Er
White
comes
Fox
out.
hero's underling.
Ouyang Jumba
So
ordered.
White Fox hero
Yes.
wants him to leave.
Ouyang Hudu was
Do you
depressed.
understand? He
Xie
thought that
Huang
one
said
of his
coldly.
two sons could fight for the
Xie Chen was
position of the
stunned.
head of the family.
He was a little puzzled.
At the very least,
He just
could
offended
become
White
an elder
Fox
of the
hero's
family.
underling.
But now
And he
one
wants
was
to
dead
kick
and
my
the other
relative
was
out of the
injured.
family.
How could he not
Is
be
this fair?
sad?
Why do I feel that our Xia family is that the Ouyang family only sent a few ordinary disciples? All right, listen to me. Don't ask so much. They didn't provoke or directly made the final decision. It was as if this matter was just an ordinary matter and had nothing to do with the Ouyang family. Wait, brother. This calm reaction made Xiao Chen frown slightly. Xie Chen clenched the phone in his hand want to do? And smashed it on the ground. They didn't say anything about revenge. The large screen iPhone was instantly smashed. They also didn't say that this matter was over. He didn't feel bad. Even if they stepped on it twice to vent his anger. Xiao Chen secretly raised his guard. Just you wait. This Ouyang family was really good at enduring. Later. If someone was killed on the summit, even though he was scolding him, it was still possible to endure. He still changed his phone number. But if someone was killed in private, how many of them would be able to endure and not take revenge? Calling him. However, this also made Xiao Chen feel that there was an expert in the Ouyang family. He originally wanted the person in charge of the Ouyang family had a clear mind to deal with Xiao Chen's family. They couldn't even be compared to the extremized initiative. When someone from the extremized sect died, to take the initiative to call him, thought of was revenge. He was ready to wait for the opportunity to talk to him. From Xiao Chen's point of view, Xie Chen was very angry because they were afraid of the martial family. Did you provoke someone to become a martial family? Their foundation was very strong. They were completely different from ordinary families. All of a sudden, the Chung family was so powerful now. He held the phone, but they still couldn't become a martial family. What's going on? So there must be a problem. Why would Xie Chen say this? However, on the surface, could it be that Xiao Chen is so didn't say this? He just had to be careful. He just said to you, Xiaochuan, "Okay, I'll leave first. Can it really be settled with a phone call? Contact me at any time." He said with some uncertainty. "Okay, President Hero White Fox, don't thank you. I'm attending a class reunion. Thank you. Are you kidding? Yu Shanshan was also very grateful to Xiao Chen. This is an order from my brother. Previously, Xia. She was a little angry that he stole her brother's wife. No one can refute his words. But now, there was no resentment. When there is a chance, after all, I will see if I can make you come back to do something." He couldn't touch women while he was a little annoyed and said, "Moreover, I must leave now." Xiao Chen saved her man and stood up for them. "You are a prodigal. How could she be angry? Why did you provoke someone for no reason?" Xiao Chen waved his hand. "I didn't provoke anyone," indicating that Zhu Yingxiong should rest well. That kid called Xiao Chen looks like a pauper. And left the Yu family was so powerful to be able to establish a relationship with young Master Xia was a little surprised. Xie Kanjuan's heart sank. Isn't this Xiao Chen's car? He knew he was done for. Why did it come to your place? Xiao Chen? The person you provoked is called Xiao Chen? Xiao Chen had to explain to her. Xie Chen was slightly taken aback. He said, he knew this name because Xiao Chen's little brother, after he confirmed which is also my little brother. He immediately laughed coldly and said, "Oh, all right, I got it. You're quite loyal. This Xiao Chen's family is almost finished." Xiao Chen. When the time comes, didn't raise I'll think of a way to get you back. Xiao Chen thought for now, you'd better calm down for nosy. Because this person is not important. Aren't we the people of Jiang called my brother to be loyal? Yes. Xiao Chen said with a smile. Xie Kanjun was overjoyed. Well, we in the Demon Gate are all people of character. He hung up the phone. We are much better than those righteous sects who are full of righteousness, submissive appearance on the phone was seen by everyone in Fat Bear. They are all hypocrites who only protect their own interests. They suddenly knew that Xiao Chen's phone call was really effective. Yi Xiaoya snorted. How is it, Xie Kanjun? Sooner or later, did your master call you to get power of the Demon Gate? Xiao Chen looked at Xie Kanjun. You have a strong sense of belonging to the Demon Gate. Xiao Chen sighed. Xie Kanjuan's face was a little pale. Yi Xiaoya thought for a moment and said, "He really didn't expect to cause such trouble today. You may be a little worse. After all, you practice by yourself. Even if your master is from the Demon Gate, he can't tell you too much." Chapter 428. So your sense of belonging may be relatively poor. Was a little shocked. Maybe she did not expect Xiao Chen to be able to settle the Xie family. Xiao Chen had never seen the beautiful aunt. This really surprised her. But he was happy to misunderstand. She knew what kind of family the Xie family was. To explain too much. She stayed in the warrior guild and the warrior market all day long. Chapter 422. What kind of power did Xiao Chen have to make the Xie family make such a decision? What do you mean? She looked at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen was stunned. Suddenly felt that you're not interested in him, are you? Powerful. I went to help him. Xiao Chen, don't be too proud. Not only did you not say that I was nosy, Xie said that your family is about me to help him more. He will deal with you when the time comes. Yi Xiaoya was kicked out of the family. I want to say that the beautiful auntie, Xie Kanjuan's face was a little ugly. Relationship. He could not help but say what Xie Chen said previously. Don't let him get hurt. The Xie family through your boss. Xiao Chen's heart tightened. Do you really think that you are capable? The beautiful auntie did not understand what this meant. Has a relationship with Xiao Chen. Understood. But wasn't Xiao Chen's boss the White Fox hero? Whether it was the identity of Xiao Chen or the White Fox who called the White Fox hero? I have never seen any beautiful auntie. What's the relationship between her and Xiao Chen? However, others did not understand, especially Fat Bear. Specifically. He was a little afraid of Xiao Chen. This is our sex internal secret. But when he heard that Xiao Chen asked his boss for help, don't force me. He immediately did not care. Yi Xiaoya shook her head. His boss was also a powerful person. Although Xiao Chen everyone was at the level of a little brother. Since Yi Xiaoya said so, why should he be afraid of him? He naturally couldn't force her. The Xie family was a business family. Let's go home. Your boss called to give you face. I didn't cultivate yesterday, but I'm from the underworld. My strength didn't improve much. It's not that easy to get me to leave. Yi Xiaoya complained. Moreover, but it's already morning. He had a good relationship with his boss. He pointed outside the window. Xie Kanjuan's beating around the bush couldn't be compared to him. Don't look for me in the middle of the night next time. He was equivalent to the role of Xie Chen. Just remembered that it was already daytime. He could directly talk to the young master if they cultivated together. So Fat Bear as long as I'm fine, said, I'll look for you. Xie Kanjuan promised quickly. It is true that you have a backer. Yi Xiaoya nodded, but your backer is not driving back to the villa. It is not as reliable as mine to come in. He parked the car and pretended to leave the villa area. How could he not hear Fat Bear's contempt? In fact, he just walked around. Now that he found a place where nobody was around to change his clothes, he could not say anything more. He returned to the villa with Xiao Chen's face and turned to leave. After a simple wash,
Xiao Chen drove about to leave, family's villa, but he was stopped by Xiao Chen. He still needed to pick up Cheng Minjing and Jean Beibei. Xia Qianjun asked drove all the way to the Cheng family's villa. Out of the Xia family. He sent a message to the eldest young afraid of you, asking if she had woken up yet. Xia Chen, very soon, did he tell you that our Xiao family is replied, saying that she was having breakfast in the Cheng family's dining room? How would I know? And that he didn't say that I would come over directly. Xia Qianjun's car wasn't stopped at the entrance. He immediately realized that he had said something yesterday and quickly denied it. He arrived at the entrance of the Cheng family's dining room. Xiao Chen didn't ask anymore. Xiao Chen got out of the car and walked sure that this President Xia when he saw the people who were eating, he slowed down slightly. That the Xiao family was going to be finished. There were only 2 tables in the restaurant. What did this mean? One table was for the direct descendants of the Cheng family, and the other table was for the relatives and some womenfolk of the Cheng family, such as Cheng Minxiang and Cheng Minjing's mother, Xia Qianjun definitely didn't know family's surname. It was useless for Xiao Chen to ask him, sitting at the table for the direct descendants of the Cheng family. Since he left the Xiao family, Jean Beibei was also sitting to the news of the Xiao family for a long time. Xiao Chen had been paying attention to the Xiao family, it was understandable, the Yu family, and so on. What shocked Xiao Chen the most was that there was another person, Xiao Chen, who had inexplicable hatred for the Xiao family. It was Xiao. He didn't understand why the Xiao family wanted to kick him out. Xiao Chen sighed slightly. Since the last meal with his Uncle Xiao was finally with Cheng Minxiang, Xiao Chen also understood their difficulties, Uncle Zhongming, especially after coming into contact with the other great to walk over and greet them. Xiao Chen deeply understood their difficulties. Coldly. Could it be that something happened to the Xiao family recently? To eat. However, in the Xiao family, have you had breakfast? Xiao Chen was in the same generation as Xiao Xiao. With me? Now that Xiao Xiao and Cheng Minxiang were together, have you forgotten how Zhong Qian disappeared? It didn't seem very good to ask his uncle Xiao directly. After all, Cheng Zhongming's expression froze to the Xiao family before. I'm not eating. If he suddenly asked, Xiao Hai would inevitably feel strange. Xiao Chen smiled and didn't take it seriously. For Xiao Chen to contact Xiao Hai directly, that there were almost no he wasn't afraid of the Cheng family except for Cheng Zhongming. He still had to keep a low profile, so he didn't bother to build a good relationship with them. Watching when the time comes, leave with his tail between his legs. Fat Why would he care so much? You want to compete with me? To have self-awareness. You were sent away and know your my brother could do anything. It's not bad. That saved me a lot of trouble. Glanced at Xiao Chen to look at Lu and nodded with satisfaction. Fat Bear said, because Xiao Chen's words positioned himself as a servant. 50,000 always remember that you, a member of the Xiao family, it's enough for me to hire a young model. He is not a member of the Xiao family because you're my first love. Xiao said coldly. Otherwise, do you think you're worth this price? Why are you angry? Xiao Chen was because a little amused by Fat Bear's out of the Xiao family. Even if he was Grandpa Lu Shuang's temporary bodyguard, Cheng Minxiang also laughed. Fat Bear didn't know. Glared at Xiao Xiao angrily. She didn't understand why Xiao Xiao said this to her brother. He was simply looking down on him. Even if he was kicked out of the family, person sick? It couldn't change the fact that he was a member of the Xiao family with a puzzled face. Moreover, well, maybe a little. Xiao Chen wasn't as useless as everyone powerful Xiao Chen was. Besides, so she was not afraid of getting into the disappearance of her uncle. She nodded and said, now in Cheng Minjing's opinion, are you pretending? It was most likely that you can deal with me just because you can deal with He was there with Xiao Xiao. Don't think that you can deal with me just because you can deal with Beibei. Let's go back. Let me tell you, I'm different from him. Grandpa, father, second uncle, do you have the ability to drive me out of the family? Minjing, you don't want to listen to us talking about Xiao Chen. I don't have a family. Do you still have a fiancé in your heart? You are from Zhongfan, right? Said sarcastically. Although you know some people, of course, there was nothing wrong with his question. After all, if you get angry, Xiao Chen was the common enemy of the Chen family. You can ask around in the underworld of Songning Don't be angry. What is my name? Xiao Chen is her servant. If he is beaten to a pulp, if I kill you, good for her. I will have a younger brother to take the owner before you beat the dog. I don't need to find someone to take the blame even if I kill you. If he does anything to harm the Xiao family after listening, I will also be unhappy. Hey boy, you have guts. Xiao Xiao said I don't know if you still have guts after returning to Songning City. You don't know who controls the underworld of Songning City, right? Cheng Minxiang nodded and smiled. You mean your family? Xiao Xiao was really on the same side as the Cheng family now. Tonight, she didn't forget to insult Xiao Chen. I'm not afraid to tell you Cheng Minxiang was afraid that Xiao Xiao would be unhappy if she found out that I'm a popular person around him and would throw a tantrum with him. Quite powerful, but from the looks of it now, if you don't want to die, killing Xiao Xiao would only be said to be getting rid of a scourge for the Xiao family. There's no need to lose your life. Cheng Minjing was a little annoyed. You don't dress very well. Is she Xiao Chen's biological sister? I guess you just know a few more people. Is she not his biological sister? You are just a child of a small family. How could she say that? You have to know your own weight. She turned around and left with Jean Beibei with a gloomy face. Then if you have the ability, kill me. He turned a deaf ear to Xiao Zhao's criticism.
In many cases,
as if he didn't hear it at all.
Would change
after leaving
the
Chung family's restaurant and
it would become a place
car.
to show off.
The eldest
and show
off
one's
still
sense of
existence.
Xiao Chen,
some people who were good at school might not be doing
so
well
bad.
now. Why does she always speak up
bad
for
at
Chung
school
might be
family
rich now?
As for the goddesses,
our
relationship
was
down on
actually
them
quite good,
as long as the
but
right
I don't know when it
bargaining
started.
chips were given.
But she rarely
They
spoke
would
to
throw
me
themselves
anymore.
into the arms
Xiao
of the
Chen
goddesses,
sighed,
who
feeling
once
a little
looked down
emotional.
on them.
Xiao
Thinking
Chen
back
didn't
to
have
when he
such a
was
strong
young,
feeling about the reunion
always
before.
followed him,
But
followed
now,
him to
he
school,
finally understood
followed
why
him
there
after
were always
school,
some good students
stuck to
who
him
liked
whenever
to
there was
initiate a
nothing to
reunion.
do.
It
And
was
even
because
said
it was
that she
cool
would
to
marry
pretend
him
to
when
be
she
real
grew
in
up.
front of former
Xiao
classmates.
Chen felt a little sad,
especially
he
in
didn't
front
know
of the
when
girls
Xiao
she
Xiao
liked
gradually
in the past.
alienated
It was
and
even
treated him
more so
coldly
to show off his
She didn't have the
existence.
same feeling.
Don't think that
as
I'm
when they were
talking
young
nonsense.
anymore.
When
my
my
boss
boss
comes
comes
in
in
a
at
while,
home,
you
she
will
just
know that there are
nodded
some
coldly
levels
and
that a
sneered
child
at
of
the
a small
engagement
family
between
like
him
you can't
and
reach.
Minjing.
Fat Bear
However,
snorted.
she was right.
Oh,
He would
Xiao
break
Chen
off
made
the
a no
engagement
sound.
sooner or
It was
later.
unknown whether he
when
heard
I was
it or
young,
not.
my sister
Seeing
always
Xiao
thought
Chen's
that her brother
stubbornness,
was the best.
Fat Bear was a little
but when
annoyed.
she grew up and saw
If it
more,
wasn't for the class
her opinion
reunion,
might have changed.
he really wanted
in
to
fact,
teach
it's
this
like
Xiao
me.
Chen a lesson
I used
and
to
beat
think
him
that Xiao
until
Ins
all
was
his
quite
teeth
awesome.
fell to the ground.
But now it seems
he
that
wanted
he is
to let
also
him
a
know
filthy
that there were
person.
some people
Chung
that
Minjing
he
said.
absolutely could
How
not
can you
provoke.
compare me with him?
But in front of
Xiao
so
Chen
many
didn't know whether
classmates,
to laugh or
and
cry.
this reunion was
Besides,
initiated by
isn't
him.
your relationship
If he
with
hit
Chung
someone,
Minxiang just
how
as
would his
bad?
classmates think
They've
of
always
him?
been bad.
So even if
we
he was
haven't
very
been good
angry
since we were young,
he still held it
not
in
until
and
later.
didn't make a move.
Chung Minjing
Fat Bear
said,
glanced at the
"Forget
door
it.
of the
Let's
resort
not talk
and
about
didn't
this.
see any high-end
Let's go
cars.
back.
The
Another
cars
week
were
has
even the
passed.
same as before.
Time flies."
So he rolled his eyes
Yes,
and said,
"I'm
Lu
so
Shuang
sleepy.
Shuang,
I
you
didn't
came by
sleep well
taxi
last
right?
night.
If
So
you want me to
cousin
say
Minjing
it,
talked to me.
you can call me
Cousin-in-law,
and I will
hurry
drive
up
to
and
pick you
drive.
up.
Bebe
Bebe
is
is
going
going
back to catch
the
up on
Land Rover
sleep.
Aurora at the
Jean
door
Bebe
is this
said,
year's latest
"It's
model.
such a good weekend,
Just call
but
me,
you're sleeping,
and I will pick
Chung
you up."
Minjing glared at her and yawned.
This
Cousin
off-road
Minjing is
vehicle,
sleepy too.
I will drive to
Jean
your
Bebe
shanty town
shouted
as well.
excitedly.
We drove
as
here,
if she had discovered
said
a
Lu
new
Shuang
continent.
Shuang.
Drove?
I've been infected
What
by
car?
you.
Fat
Chung
Bear was
Minjing
slightly
said
stunned.
grumpily.
He glanced
Xiao
at the
Chen
door and
smiled
didn't
and
see any
drove back
cars.
to the villa.
He knew who
Miss
the few
Sue and
cars
Jean
outside
Bebe went
belonged
upstairs to
to. There was
sleep.
no one he didn't
Xiao
know.
Chen had nothing to do.
Land Rover, said Lu Shuang Shuang.
In the past, when
it's
he
also
and
a Land
Tang
Rover,
went to the
but
morning
I'm the
market
only
to
one
sell
at the
fried
door.
dough sticks.
Fat
He
Bear
would either
pretended
go
to
out
be
with Miss
confused
Sue
or
but
attend
his
the
words
summit.
were full of ridicule.
Anyway, his schedule
it's a
was
Land
full,
Rover
and
Range
he had no
Rover.
time to rest.
I didn't drive it
But
here.
now he didn't
I
know
left
what to
it in
do.
the parking lot.
Since he couldn't
said
go
Lu
to
Shuang
Yixiaoya
Shuang.
for dual
Range
cultivation.
Rover.
Xiao
Fat
Chen
Bear
had nothing to
suddenly
do.
laughed.
He planned to go
drive
out
it here
and take a look
There
at
is
the
also a
antique
parking
market
lot here
and the old
Why
goods
don't you
market
drive your
to
car
see if
here?
he could buy
It
ancient
will be
jade or
convenient
something.
to keep an eye
However,
on the car.
as soon
Land
as he went
Rover
out,
is such a
something
high-end
happened.
car.
Don't let
Kerlin
it
was
get
busy
scratched.
selling noodles.
Oh, it's just
With
a
the
good
car.
location.
If it gets
The flow of
scratched, then so
customers
be it.
increased. I will buy
But to
another one
Kerlin's
after
surprise,
that.
Xiao
Lu
Chen
Shuang
said
Shuang
indifferently,
came to the morning market
"Ah,
early in the
Fat
morning
Bear was
to help her
immediately
sell
amused,
noodles
as
These
a free
two people were
part-time
bragging
worker.
to each other.
Lu Shuang Shuang,
And it was really like
aren't you
that.
going to sell
It
binoculars?
made him laugh.
Kerlin
I don't
was a
even
little
dare to say
confused.
that I will buy
The
another
business
one
should be
after
better
it
on
gets scratched.
Saturdays and Sundays,
Can you buy
right?
another one?
Why did she
Well,
come here
I
instead
haven't
of selling
driven such a
binoculars?
high-end car like
Hee,
Range Rover
I'm not
before.
going.
I'm
How
going
about
to
you
help
drive
you sell
it here
noodles
and let me
You see how
experience
busy
it.
I am today.
Let's talk
If I
about it
weren't
when we
here,
leave.
I would
Xiao
have
Chen
missed
was several
several
batches
batches
of
of
customers
customers
and
drive
made
it
less
here
than
and let him
100 yuan.
experience it.
Lu
Wasn't
Shuang
there
Shuang
something
said
wrong
with a
with his
smile.
brain?
At this
Kerlin
time,
was a little
at the door of the
speechless.
resort,
You
there
can
was a
make
car
nearly
sound.
5,000
An
yuan
Audi
by
Q7
selling a
stopped outside.
binocular.
When
Why do you
Fat
care
Bear
about
saw
my
it,
100
he couldn't
yuan?
care less about
I won't
Xiao
give it
Chen
to you
and
even
Lu
if you
Shuang
say it
Shuang.
again.
He immediately ran
I
over
didn't ask
and
for
opened
it.
the door for
Lu
the
Shuang
driver.
Shuang said.
He said
I'm here
flatteringly,
to help for free.
Brother Ming, you are
Lu
here.
Shuang Shuang, is there something wrong?
Why Why do I feel that you have something to talk to me about? Chapter 429 and looked at Lu Shuang. The person who got out of the car nodded gently. She knew Lu Shuang's character very well. If it weren't for you and Xiaoli, money as her life, I wouldn't have come here to attend this class such a good time to sell binoculars. Can I live in such a low-class and come place? To help for no reason? Yes. Lu Shuang was a warm-hearted person. Right, brother. Sometimes she would come to help after work in the Warriors Market. To me, but now the Warriors from a small family in Songning City. Can you go and teach him a lesson? Oh, a small family? Do I still need to show up? Brother Ming said faintly. He hugged a fair-looking girl who got out of the front passenger seat and walked into the door of the class reunion. Isn't this Xiao Lu? Xiao Chen looked up and saw Lu Junming walking through the door. Then he said directly, right, that fat bear next to you wants to see my car. I parked it in the parking lot. Go and drive it for me. Let him feel it. As Xiao Chen said this, he handed the car key to Lu Junming. Lu Zhenming looked at Xiao Chen in front of him with a little surprise. He didn't know why Xiao Chen would appear here. He even knew Fat Bear. What kind of connection did they have? However, he still shuddered subconsciously and hurriedly said, "Boss Xiao Chen, why are you here too? Why drive? Why are you showing this dumb *SS? Ignore him." "Oh, then forget it." Xiao Chen glanced at the girl in Lu Zhenming's arms and said, "Is she new? And she has been chasing me. I didn't agree before, but now, I agree." Lu Zhenming had given up on Cheng Menjing, so he didn't have to hang on to a tree. "Oh, this fat guy is her brother? He doesn't look like a dumb person. I wanted to beat him up, but since he is your relative, I didn't," said Xiao Chen. Fat Bear's eyes were a little dull as he looked at Xiao Chen and Lu Zhenming, who were talking and laughing wittily. What was going on? Lu Zhenming actually called Xiao Chen Boss Xiao Chen? He's Lu Zhenming's boss? His own boss? In that case, wouldn't Xiao Chen's boss be? He felt a little dizzy. This Xiao Chen didn't seem to be a simple descendant of a small family. Could it be that he had been wrong all along? "Fat Bear, what are you doing?" "This is Boss Xiao Chen, my boss. His boss is the White Fox hero who is famous in Songning, and also my boss's boss. Do you want to die? If you don't want to live anymore, just say it. Why are you looking at a car? What's there to look at? If you want to see it, go to the parking lot," Lu Zhenming said angrily. I. Fat Bear's forehead was full of cold sweat. He didn't expect that this Xiao Chen actually had such a powerful background. He really didn't know what to say. Of course, the most dumbfounded person was Lu Shuangshuang. Was the White Fox hero so powerful? Just one of his underlings was already enough to scare people to death? Looking at Lu Zhenming's appearance, Lu Shuangshuang knew that this Fat Bear would definitely not pester her in the future. However, from the looks of it now, what Lin Kuo said might be true. She and Xiao Chen were not in a relationship of boyfriend and girlfriend. He remembered that Lin Kuo had once said that the person she liked was the White Fox hero. In this way, Lu Shuangshuang's guilt was reduced a lot. Otherwise, she would always have a kind of pressure, as if she was the one who stole Lin's boyfriend. Although she didn't show it, she still felt a little awkward. But now this feeling no longer existed. Xiao Chen and Lin didn't admit that there was a relationship between them. Now it seemed that there was only one possibility. There was really no relationship. Thinking of this, Lu Shuangshuang heaved a sigh of relief. In other words, no matter how intimate she was with Xiao Chen, no matter what illogical things they did, it would all be fine. She would not feel sorry for Lin Kuo. This made the stone in her heart fall down. Otherwise, she really couldn't face Lin in the future. What she wanted to do today was something that couldn't be helped. "Okay, little Lu, just say it. He likes my girlfriend, Lu Shuangshuang, but Lu Shuangshuang doesn't like him. You tell him not to pester her," Xiao Chen said. This was also a way to solve the problem once and for all, so that Lu Shuangshuang wouldn't endlessly pester him for help in the future. No, I won't pester him anymore." Without waiting for Lu Zhenming to speak, Fat Bear immediately said. He wasn't a fool. Obviously, his biggest backer was Lu Shuangshuang's underling. What else could he do? Lu Shuangshuang's classmates were watching the development of the situation not far away. Before Xie Canjun left, they faintly felt that Lu Shuangshuang's boyfriend wasn't simple. Now it was even more so. They felt that Xiao Chen was even more powerful. Was Fat Bear powerful? But Xiao Chen could even control Lu Shuangshuang's boss. This kind of ability couldn't help but be admired. The expressions of those classmates who looked down on Lu Shuangshuang before changed. They thought that after Lu Shuangshuang dropped out of school, she was just a prostitute. How difficult would it be for a girl without any ability, background, or education to earn money to support her family and society? When Lu Shuangshuang was in school, her grades were average. Usually, she relied on street stalls to support her family. What achievements could such a person achieve in society? But unexpectedly they really misjudged her. Lu Shuangshuang was really rich now. Regardless of whether her family was poor in the past, she definitely wouldn't be poor in the future. "Shuangshuang, what's the name of your boyfriend's company? After I graduate from university, can I go there to work?" There was a girl who had a good relationship with Lu Shuangshuang. At this moment, she started to think of ways to get closer to her. "Yeah, Shuangshuang, I'm your backseat. Do you remember? Little Chong. A male voice called Little Chong also came over. Let's keep in touch in the future. When we were in school, you went out early and came back late to set up your stall. I even helped you copy your homework. Shuang, I think our class needs a leader. You're doing the best now. In the future, you'll be the leader. When we have something to do, we'll help each other. Sister Shuang is the big sister. Fat Bear immediately said. Pfft, what are you doing? You only know how to do well. Lu Zhiming kicked him. After that, the class reunion completely turned into a session of flattery. A group of people desperately toasted Xiao Chun and Lu Shuang. Of course, Xiao Chun and Lu Shuang replaced it with drinks. They didn't drink any alcohol. But even so, no one said much. Lu Shuang enjoyed the feeling of being the main character for the first time. The way she looked at Xiao Chun couldn't help but become very gentle. She kept pouring drinks for Xiao Chun. She became Xiao Chun's exclusive drink server. Xiao Chun was also a little helpless. Even if he didn't drink, drinking so many drinks would make his stomach a little uncomfortable. But there was no other way. Lu Shuang's classmates were very enthusiastic. He had to deal with them for Lu Shuang's sake. In his opinion, a good person would help to the end. In the future, Lu Shuang wouldn't bother him anymore. This was also a good way to solve the problem once and for all. Honey, drink by yourself for a while. I'm going to the bathroom. Lu Shuang touched her clothes pocket, then stood up and said to Xiao Chun. Oh, do you want me to go with you? Asked Xiao Chun. No need. I'll be back soon. Thank you, my dear. Lu Shuang suddenly stood up and wrapped her arms around Xiao Chun's neck. Then, she kissed Xiao Chun's face. Xiao Chun was stunned. He didn't expect Lu Shuang to kiss him in front of so many people. Is she drunk? That's not right. Isn't she drinking juice? Juice can also be drunk? When we were in the car, Lu Shuang was very wary of me taking advantage of her. Why did she suddenly take the initiative? Did she really fall in love with me? Xiao Chun shook his head. Looking at Lu Shuang who had already left, he felt a little dizzy. He didn't believe that his charm was so great that she would fall in love with him after helping her to act cool. However, Xiao Chun suddenly felt a little drunk. His head was a little dizzy. Did I drink too much juice? I heard that there was a small amount of alcohol in the juice. If you drink too much, you will also get drunk. Thinking about how much juice I drank, it seems that it is really possible. Boss Xiao Chun, let's continue. Let me toast to you. Lu Zhiming raised his glass and said to Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun felt that these people were all alcohol battlefields, especially this Lu Zhiming. Sure enough, people in the underworld can drink. Lu Shuang came to the bathroom carefully. As soon as she walked in, she was shocked by an old man who suddenly appeared in front of her. She quickly took 2 steps back. Ah, you scared me to death. Lu Shuang, is he the boyfriend you were talking about? The old man's voice was very strange. There was an indescribable wretchedness and obscenity in it. It made people who heard it very uncomfortable. Why have I never seen him before? It's true. He is really my boyfriend. And we have already slept together. Don't pester me anymore, okay? Lu Shuang said with some begging. Didn't we agree before that if I had a boyfriend, you wouldn't come to me? I can give you money. We agreed. But I always feel that you want to leave me and lie to me? Hee. The old man sneered twice. Did you really sleep with him? Yes, I really slept with him. You must have despised me. So the matter between us, let's end it today, okay? Said Lu Shuang. Humph. The old man didn't agree or refuse. He just scanned Lu Shuang up and down greedily. Then he said, you go back first. I will take a look. Oh, Lu Shuang said. You move aside first. I need to go to the bathroom. Humph. The old man snorted and let Lu Shuang enter the bathroom. After Lu Shuang went in, she let out a sigh of relief. This old man lied to me when I was young. I didn't expect him to pester me until now. I shouldn't have agreed to him. Now that I think about it, it's really troublesome. Chapter 430. Lu Shuang locked the door of the bathroom before she dared to pee. Then, she quickly pulled up her pants and left the bathroom. The old man just stood at the door and did not stop her. He let Lu Shuangshuang leave. When she was far away, he dashed into the bathroom that Lu Shuangshuang had used before. After a while, he came out with a gloomy face. When Lu Shuangshuang returned to the table, her classmates were still toasting to Xiao Chun. After Lu Shuangshuang came back, she swayed and leaned on Xiao Chun. She said in a soft voice, "Honey, I'm a little dizzy. I'll lean on you for a while." Xiao Chun looked at Lu Shuangshuang, who seemed to be drunk. He was a little puzzled, but he had the same feeling. He could only attribute it to the fact that the drink was also fermented and contained a small amount of alcohol. If one drank too much, this would happen. He was a man and a cultivator, so the effect of alcohol was slightly weaker. However, Lu Shuangshuang was different. Perhaps because she was a girl, the effect of alcohol was stronger, and she was already beginning to feel dizzy. After drinking for a while, everyone saw that Lu Shuangshuang was drunk and had already leaned on Xiao Chun. So, Fat Bear immediately stood up and said, "Boss Xiao Chun and sister-in-law Shuangshuang have drunk too much. Let's call it a night, okay? We still have to climb the mountain tomorrow. Everyone go back and rest early. The room cards are at the door. Everyone go and get them later." After saying that, he took the initiative and gave Xiao Chun the best room among the room cards. In fact, the best room was just a king-size bedroom with better decoration. In this old resort, it was impossible to get a presidential suite. At least, there was no such thing in this resort. When Xiao Chun saw that Fat Bear only gave him a room card, he felt a little helpless. However, he could not explain that his relationship with Lu Shuangshuang was actually fake, so he could only bite the bullet and take it. He looked at the room number, hugged the swaying Lu Shuangshuang, and walked out of the restaurant. Xiao Chun did not plan to take a stroll. He walked directly to the room. There was no elevator in this resort, only stairs. Xiao Chun helped Lu Shuangshuang up the stairs. However, he suddenly turned around halfway. Previously, he always had a feeling that he was being followed and monitored. It was not that he found anything. It was completely the spiritual awareness of a cultivator. But when he turned around, he found nothing. He released his spiritual perception, but he was unable to sense anything. Could it be that it was the person who had taken pictures of him time and time again? Xiao Chun was puzzled. Why was this person following him? He actually followed them all the way from Songning City to Jiduan City? This person was really patient. However, it was also possible that Xiao Chun was a little dizzy, so he had an illusion. After confirming that there was no one, Xiao Chun didn't stay any longer. He quickly went upstairs and came to the door of the room. He opened the door and quickly helped Lu Shuangshuang into the room and locked the door. However, after Xiao Chun entered the room, an old face flashed at the end of the corridor. It was the old man that Lu Shuangshuang met in the bathroom before. As soon as he entered the room, Xiao Chun was stunned. How can I sleep like this? This room was actually a king-size bedroom. There was only one king-size bed in the room, and he and Lu Shuangshuang weren't really boyfriend and girlfriend. If they slept together, even if they didn't do anything, it would still be quite awkward. Xiao Chun pondered for a moment, and threw Lu Shuangshuang on the bed first. Lu Shuangshuang seemed to have drunk too much. She fell on the bed in a daze and began to sleep. As for Xiao Chun, when he was washing up, he didn't know why he felt dazed. It was as if something had gone to his head. Did I really drink too much? Can juice get drunk? Xiao Chun felt that his vision was a little blurred. Just as he put Lu Shuangshuang down, his head was dizzy, and he fell directly on the bed. Elder Heaven Ancestor. What happened to me? Although Xiao Chun was unconscious, his subconscious was still there, and he subconsciously communicated with Elder Heaven Ancestor in his mind. What happened? You were drugged. Elder Heaven Ancestor said calmly. What? Me? Xiao Chun was stunned, and suddenly felt a little depressed. Then why didn't you tell me earlier? You only told me after I was drugged? Did you already know about it? Nonsense, but I just won't tell you. Elder Heaven Ancestor said with a smile. Why? Xiao Chun asked in shock. Weren't you arrogant before? Now you don't ask me anything, and you make your own decisions. Then I won't be annoying and talk too much. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Tell me, how long has it been since you last asked me for advice? I didn't want to disturb you. After hearing this, Xiao Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This elder heaven ancestor was like a child. And he was even angry? Yes. I also didn't want to disturb you. Seeing that you were quite drunk, I didn't stop you. Elder heaven ancestor said. Fainted. Then what do I do now? Xiao Chen asked with a bitter smile. There's nothing to do. There's no danger anyway. This kind of drug is nothing to you. You just need to circulate the mantra and use your yuan qi to dissolve it. You'll wake up soon. Elder Sky said indifferently. Okay. Xiao Chen could only nod helplessly. He was a little depressed that he was tricked by Elder Heaven Ancestor. He didn't dare to delay and quickly used the mantra. But he was a little puzzled. Elder Heaven Ancestor, who drugged me? Why did they do this? It's the girl next to you. How would I know? Why don't you ask her yourself when you wake up? Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Lu Shuang Shuang? Xiao Chen couldn't help but frown. The person he was least guarded against was Lu Shuang Shuang. His drinks were basically poured by Lu Shuang Shuang. He didn't think much about it. But in the end, the person who was least likely to do it had drugged him. However, what was the reason for Lu Shuang Shuang to do this? Xiao Chen wanted to open his eyes and ask Lu Shuang Shuang, but he couldn't wake up. He could only try his best to use the mantra to dissolve the drug in his body. Lu Shuang Shuang, who was originally drunk, suddenly woke up after Xiao Chen fainted. She rolled out of bed and looked at the sleeping Xiao Chen. She carefully used her hand to poke Xiao Chen's arm. Xiao Chen didn't respond. After a while, Lu Shuang Shuang poked Xiao Chen's arm again. Xiao Chen still didn't respond. Lu Shuang Shuang finally relaxed. She didn't hesitate and reached out to unbutton Xiao Chen's shirt. At this moment, Lu Shuang Shuang was like a thirsty young girl. She quickly stripped Xiao Chen's body, leaving only a pair of underwear behind. After hesitating for a while, Lu Shuang Shuang clenched her teeth and pulled off Xiao Chen's underwear. Lu Shuang Shuang's face was a little red. She didn't dare to look straight at it, but after a while, she still looked carefully. Then, she couldn't help but click her tongue. It's so big. He can't stab me to death, right? Fortunately, it's fake. If I'm really his girlfriend, I'll have a hard time. At this moment, Lu Shuang Shuang didn't hesitate. She didn't have so much time to think about whether she was shy or not. She quickly took off her clothes and only wore a small nightgown to cover her body. Then, she quickly got out of bed and went to the windowsill. She opened the curtains a little. It looked like she was admiring the scenery outside, but in fact, Lu Shuang Shuang was doing it for others to see. If it wasn't out of Lu Shuang Shuang's expectation, the old man would definitely come to peep. Although he hadn't come yet, he would definitely come to check later. Lu Shuang Shuang knew that he wouldn't give up, so she made this plan. After doing all this, Lu Shuang Shuang quickly returned to the bed. She glanced at Xiao Chen, who was lying on the bed, and thought to herself, Xiao Chen, I'm not trying to trick you. I didn't do it on purpose. Anyway, although you've fainted, you've taken advantage of me. Don't blame me when you wake up. But anyway, after you wake up, you won't know anything. You definitely won't know what's going on. Thinking of this, Lu Shuang Shuang directly sat on Xiao Chen's body. Her lower body was empty, so she sat directly between Xiao Chen's legs. Although Xiao Chen didn't have any physiological reaction, Lu Shuang Shuang still felt a little weird. She peeked at Xiao Chen and found that he was still unconscious and motionless. Lu Shuang Shuang was relieved. She kept hinting to herself in her heart that Xiao Chen was a cushion, and she was sitting on the cushion. It wasn't a big deal. Because she didn't know when the old man would come, Lu Shuang Shuang could only rub herself on Xiao Chen's body. Before coming, she deliberately went to the internet cafe to download some short movies. She imitated the women in the movies and pretended to lick Xiao Chen's chest with her mouth, as if she was flirting. Sure enough, as Lu Shuang Shuang expected, it didn't take long for the old man in the bathroom to appear at the window of Lu Shuang Shuang's room. This was the 4th floor, and he actually came up directly. Moreover, he was lying on the window. How badass is this person? Lu Shuang Shuang saw the old man from the corner of her eyes, and she was shocked. Although she was prepared, she almost peed in her pants. This person seems to be floating outside. Is this a ghost? However, In order to completely get rid of the old man, Lu Shuangshuang gritted her teeth. After licking Xiao Chen's chest, she began to twist her body. Then, she imitated the way in the short movies and began to move up and down on Xiao Chen's body. Anyway, her lower body was covered by her nightgown. The old man couldn't see it from the outside. As long as she acted properly, the old man would definitely be confused. Lu Shuangshuang felt a little embarrassed as she screamed. However, she had no choice. In order to make the old man believe her, she could only scream like a slut. Fortunately, Xiao Chen was unconscious. If he was awake and she asked him to cooperate, let's not talk about whether he would cooperate or not. Even if he did cooperate, she wouldn't be able to perform so boldly. She would definitely be embarrassed to death. The old man was outside the window. He looked into the room and saw Lu Shuangshuang riding on Xiao Chen's body. His face was a little gloomy. He didn't expect Lu Shuangshuang to really have a boyfriend so soon. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.